order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are bringing back a familiar face. Seattle reunited with infielder Jorge Polanco on a one-year, $7.75 million contract for ESPN. Polanco answers a question for Seattle at third base, but he's also coming off a career-low OPS of .651 last season with the Mariners. His best year was in 2019. It's clearly the version the M's are counting on in 2024.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. One more week until the Super Bowl. We'll still be previewing it with the Athletics' Mike Silver, who joins us in an hour. We are not opening with football, though. I'm excited to get to that conversation. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to start with the Mariners. We have Jorge Polanco, who's back in Seattle. At 10:30, we've got some sound from Shannon about why we might have seen a career-low OPS from him, what 2025 might bring, how he could help this team. Just some more insight on the Jorge Polanco signing coming up at 10:30, so we'll get to it. I'm going to start not just by mentioning that signing, but also going to some sound from a former Mariner. Is this former Seattle Mariner calling out the Mariners? Teoscar Hernandez, bump on with foul territory, had this to say.
If teams wants to win, they don't go into free agency telling players that, oh, we need to make a trade for us to get money, or we need to make a trade for us to have the room, or we need to make a trade for this type of player. If you want to compete, you just sign players, you make the move quick, and you just sign good players in free agency. And I don't see that from the other teams that were interns in my service.
Michael Bumpus, maybe I'm seeing something where there isn't anything there, but something about seeing like running it back with Jorge Polanco and just kind of a disappointing free agency. I heard this and I thought, oh man, this is so about Seattle.
It has to be about Seattle because when they grabbed him from Toronto, they just went and grabbed him. You're not having that type of conversation with Teoscar. The only team you're having that type of conversation with are the Mariners. We're figuring out, am I coming back or am I going? And it's so unfortunate, but it's not surprising, right? It's like confirmation. You order something on that Amazon, you grab something out your cart that you have.
This feels personal.
You know, you get that confirmation code, and you're like, all right, cool. This is what that was, I feel like.
Yeah.
He let it be known. And it's almost like the tone of Teoscar, too. We've been around him for the past year or so, and we've gotten a chance to listen to him speak, watch his facial expressions. He seemed like he was low-key disgusted with this. Like, come on, man, you don't tell a guy we got to make a move. No, you just go and get that guy. So I think this is about the Mariners, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that the people needed, too. I think it's something that we all assumed, but you need that confirmation. And Teoscar just gave us that. And I wish he would have put a name on it. That would have made it even more spicy. But he's a professional. He's a grown man in the game. He doesn't want to ruffle too many feathers, but he also wants to be completely honest. I loved the analogy you had for this
With
when
the
we
car?
were getting ready in the sports pit.
The car analogy?
Yeah,
Okay, so I recently got a new car. It's a 2024 Bronco Sport. Shout out Wastecar Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And I was previously driving. I'm a saver. I'm not a spender, and except on cars and technology. I buy clothes. But I just have been driving the same 2013 car for more than 10 years now. Like, it's just there. It's old, reliable. Her name's Low Red. And I recently got a 2024. And when I tell you the feeling of going from a 2013 to a 2024, I came in like, y'all have heated seats? I'm sorry, what are these backup cameras? No one told me about that.
You feel like your old cars, those Flintstones cars.
It's
where they
exactly,
run with their feet.
even when I drive it, I'm like, what do you mean you can defrost your car in under 10 minutes? What are you talking about? What is this science? What is this world? A push to start engine? Am I in the future? Like, I felt like I leapt forward to 2051.
Right.
It was crazy, but that's probably how Teo felt going from the Mariners straight to the Dodgers. There was not a layover anywhere. He didn't upgrade to a 2019 or a 2020. He went straight to a team that not only wants to win, but is urgently spending as though they want to win.
It was a direct flight, first class. Everything was smooth. If you ever flown first class with a flight over like 2.5 hours, they give you the hot, damp towel to relax you.
What?
You get champagne as soon as you get on the flight.
There's a whole life I don't know about.
I'm telling you, once you go first class.
In first class, they give you a warm, damp towel.
Depends
to
on
put
where
on
you're
your
going
face.
and how long the flight is.
Okay, but if it's over 2 hours, they give you a warm, damp
like
towel.
over 2 to 3 hours if you fly with a certain airline. Yeah.
I'm
they hook you
2023
up.
Teo, and you're 2024 Teo.
Yeah, they hook you up. And I would imagine that's what it's like. And you go from Toronto, which, correct me if I'm wrong, has a good reputation when it comes to just what they put out on the field, their acquisitions and stuff. They're better than the Mariners, obviously. Yeah. Most have a reputation better than the Mariners. So you leave there, and then it feels like you slum it out in Seattle for a little bit, and then you're reminded, like, I'm going to take even another step up. I'm going to pass what Toronto was doing and go to the L.A. Dodgers, where they go out and they sign anybody they want to sign. They give them exactly what they're asking for, maybe a little bit more in some cases, to where they are committed to building a championship team. And then you're looking in first class, you're looking in the back like, I will never go to seat 27 ever again in my life because I am here. And then you start to reflect. And I think that's what we saw, even when I'm watching Teo during this whole deal. And he's like looking up, thinking about it like, man, you don't really tell people I have to make a move to make this move, right? You just go and get it. It's like it hit him. He already knew this. But in that moment, I felt like it hit him. And it hurts for the reputation of the Mariners. I think they already had that reputation of not going out and getting the guys. But when you have a guy where he struggled when it comes to his standards, and then he moves on to L.A., has a great year, reflection is crazy. I think that's what we saw and heard.
And maybe he's not talking about the Mariners. Really nice guy.
He is,
maybe
man.
he's taking a shot.
What are you talking about?
Well, exactly. You and I both know that he is. Maybe he's talking about a number of teams, like he's grouping the Mariners in with them and kind of looking at other teams in baseball going, you guys want to paint the Dodgers as villains? Well, maybe you should be spending. Maybe you should be more aggressive. Maybe you should want to win. However, hypothetical world, let's say he's not talking about Seattle. Doesn't mean it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally saying if teams want to win, they don't go into free agency telling players, we need to make a trade to free up money. Oh, we don't want to spend this much. We want to save, $75,000 on a certain thing. And so we're going to, like, they don't have that kind of penny pinching approach.
Yeah.
And it is one thing to say, hey, you can't spend like the Dodgers. It is another thing to say you're a team that could contend, but you're choosing not to spend for whatever reason. And the Mariners feel like a team that, their actions, I don't know what they really want. Their actions speak to a team that does not have a sense of urgency, and they should.
I'm with you. Let's pretend. Let's say he's not talking about the Mariners. The fact that everyone here thinks that he is talking about the Mariners is the problem. The fact that everyone here is like, yeah, that fits the model, that fits the profile of what the Mariners do. That's the problem, man. And it hurts. I feel for the Mariners fan who just started watching 5 years ago. I feel for the Mariners fan that's been in this thing for the long run, because you've been subjected to, it feels like just abuse. Right? It's verbal abuse, because you come out and you say one thing and then you go out and you do another thing. And like I said yesterday, you're hoping to tap in to the magical season, one that you make a movie about, the 2025 Mariners. No one expected them to be here, yet they're in the World Series. So many things have to go right. But I like the insight too, man. And hopefully that applies some type of pressure. I don't think it does. I think ownership they are who they are, and they're going to spend what they're going to spend. And we're going to shoot arrows at Dipoto, unfortunately, because of some of the things that he says. But if you look deeper, you also know that he's not in control of the budget. He's trying to do the best with what he has. It's just a bad situation. But I do appreciate Teo for putting that out there. Even if he's not talking about the Mariners, which I am 95% sure he is talking about the Mariners, it's, like I said, it's confirmation.
Well, I think because it comes from a former player, there's probably, like, I would imagine if I'm Jerry Dipoto or if I'm anyone in the Mariners ownership group and I hear this, I go, well, you don't get it. Like, you're a player. You don't get the ins and outs of the business part of this. You don't get what it means to build a team. And while that's fundamentally true, Teo is coming from the point of view as a player. Is he wrong? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know that you can make the playoffs once in 23 years or so and then say, like, you guys don't get it. I'm playing chess here. Like, no, there's a fundamental problem here.
Yeah.
Either it's a philosophical approach to spending that's flawed. Maybe it's a philosophical approach to trades that's flawed. Maybe it's making bad signings. Maybe it's complacency. There is a fundamental issue here because you are still the only team to never make it to a World Series. And when you are a statistical outlier in that way, it's a you thing and you got to reevaluate. And instead of, I'm not saying they're doing this, but instead of brushing away sentiment from a player, going, oh, what does a player know? Maybe wonder if what Teo thinks is what many other guys think. If you're having a hard time signing free agents, Bob mentioned yesterday something interesting about, like, hey, kind of an underrated storyline of the Mariners' free agency are the free agents that they may have tried to get that don't want to come here. Well, what if they think like Teo thinks? That should matter to you.
Yeah, it should. You should take in as much information as possible, right? You have to stick to your philosophy, I guess. I don't think you have to, but that's what they're going to do as far as spending or whatnot. But you got to take in information. You got to – do you do exit interviews? Like, what's that like? I own a business, right? And we're constantly, after every year, talking to our employees. What did you like? What didn't you like? What would you improve? Even if it's from a disgruntled employee who we know we're not going to have back because of his or her work ethic or whatnot, we're still going to take the feedback. You take what you want from it. You take what you want from it, and you place value on it according to who that information is coming from. I would assume a guy like Teoscar has high value in what he says and how he feels because he's been a pro. He's had big moments. He's been an all-star. Like, he's a good ball player. If he speaks, you should take that a little bit. You should listen a little bit. I'm not saying move exactly the way that he wants you to move, but guys like him, you listen to. Obviously, a rookie or a guy in AAA or a dude who's done absolutely nothing for your squad, you still take that information, but it don't hold the same weight. That's all I'm asking in these situations is that take the information and do something about it. Try to do something about it. I will always go back to this, though. We don't know exactly what they're doing. We don't know what has been offered out there. What we do know is that every year it comes back to the same thing. Ownership not allowing Jerry to spend enough money to go and put a real squad together that doesn't have to have just a magical season where everything goes correct. We missed on that. That year when everyone in the rotation was healthy, that was a magical season. You just didn't have enough to back them up. You missed it.
You mentioned, kind of the exit interview analogy. And, like, when players say something, listen. If a player says, spend more money, maybe sometimes you're limited in how you can listen. But what if a player talks about changing something you can control? This was also what Teo had to say in a separate interview with Foul Territory.
For me, I couldn't see, when you step in the batter's box, you trying to see the pitcher straight, right? And for me, it was like, I couldn't figure that out. I always see myself crooked. It's either the pitcher was like behind me or on the other side of the mound. It was never straight like the other stadium. Never feel the same. And when I play there, my numbers show it. I could have hit like 4 hits the day before on the road, and the next day I get Seattle, and it just either I hit the ball hard, don't get hits, or I just strike out.
Okay, maybe Teo had a down year. Maybe he's the only Mariners player who thinks this, but he's saying, I could never see the ball correctly against the T-Mobile Park batter's eye. Dan Wilson was asked about the batter's eye just the other day with Wyman and Bob and said this.
There have been things with the batter's eye over the years. I don't, as a player, there were things that when we first moved in here, that we talked about, and a lot of those things had been corrected. The angle is certainly something that people have talked about. Not having stood in a batter's box in a really long time, Bob, it's hard to know for sure if that's something that bothers you. But again, I think I think that as we get into this season and we start playing the type of baseball that we play, which is fighting when we have 2 strikes, it's moving runners, it's doing the little things. We're going to be in a good spot, and I don't think that'll be a problem.
I think it could. If players are telling you, even if it's a handful of players saying, man, I really don't like this, and if you have the power to change it, like, why not? I know that you think it might take away from your pitchers, but frankly, your pitchers are more talented on average than a lot of your hitters. Like, boosting your offense is worth taking away a little bit of an edge for your pitchers.
And your pitchers are just as good on the road, too. Like, it's not like that is such an advantage that they're only good at home. They're good on the road as well. And what do you expect Dan to say? Like, really, though? Like, the skip, what do you expect him to say? Yeah, man, we got to fix that. This is a big problem. His job is to make sure that everyone is focused at the task at hand, and you're just going to go out there and play ball. If he goes out to the public and he starts talking about, man, we need to fix this isn't good, the whole vibe of the team is thrown off because now you're buying into that. I remember the first time I practiced in snow, right? And mentally, I am done. I'm like, we're practicing in this? I'm from California. We're going to practice in this snow. What is going on? And a few of us from California were like complaining about it. But then the boys from Washington were it's just another day. And we bought into that because we're looking at everyone else and saying, oh, this is just what it is. We have to mentally just fight through this. Could you imagine if all of us were just complaining about the dang snow? It would have been the worst practice of all time because that stuff rubs off on people. This is what Dan is doing. He knows there's something wrong with that batter's eye, but it would be irresponsible for him to go out there and say, yeah, man, something's wrong. We have to fix it. Last thing before we move on, I'm looking at Teoscar's numbers. It's not like his numbers were just astronomically better with the Dodgers, but Teo had those moments with the Dodgers, right? Teo had a few more bombs, but I watched a bunch of Dodger games. He just came through clutch, and he seemed more comfortable in the batter's box. So I think that even if his numbers don't reflect just a crazy change, just as an athlete, when you are mentally and spiritually in a good place, there's less stress in what you're doing. And I think that him being in the batter's box out here just stressed him out. He was tense to whereas you go to L.A. and it helps that your lineup is stupid, right? But you go to L.A., you're just more free to make the big plays.
Let's get to that Polanco signing, by the way, how we started the show a little bit right now with headline rewrites.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bumper Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Mariners have signed infielder Shohei Polanco to a 1-year deal with a base value of $7.75 million. What's the real headline?
If you hated the 2024 Mariners offense, boy, do I have some bad news for you.
It's back, baby.
It's back.
Oh, man. I mean, what else were they going to do? What else?
Literally, I don't even know.
Curtis, I mean, you tell me. These are the available second basemen. Nicky Lopez, Brendan Rodgers, Brandon Drury, Tony Kemp, Joey Wendell. No one has a war over
Negative.
1 point something. Like what else? What else? Any of these names interest you, Curtis?
No, not really. I mean, Brandon Drury maybe is a bounce back candidate. He had a pretty good 2023 season, but he was awful in 2024. But yeah, the Mariners kind of boxed themselves into a corner this offseason, and this was their only way out. Going with the devil that you know instead of the devil that you don't know. It's a move that I think everybody was just kind of like, really, this is the capper to the offseason?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
this is it.
Let's go. And they're moving him third, correct?
Yes, and we're going to talk more about that, about why we could see better numbers from him in 2025 coming up in less than 15 minutes.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2. In court documents filed yesterday, federal prosecutors say there was no evidence Shohei Otani's former interpreter, Ipe Mizuhara, suffered from a gambling addiction. What's the real headline?
The $16 million he stole from Otani was just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone
You
makes
know that
mistakes.
one. You know that how sometimes you just accidentally call a bank pretending to be your friend, and then you wire millions of dollars to yourself, or
It was only $200,000.
to a bookie.
Only $20,000.
Only you know how sometimes you just accidentally do that for a car loan.
What is going on here, man?
So, do you want me to give you more details
Yeah,
about this?
give me some more.
Okay. So prosecutors are essentially trying to show that Mizuhara, who's asked for lighter sentencing, so he's trying to lean heavy into like, it was a gambling addiction, I couldn't control myself. They were trying to point out he's stealing because he could, because he didn't want to pay his own bills and debts, not because he had an addiction. So they point out a very, very limited history of legal betting. So they could only find like one bet placed in one of 30 casinos around the country since like 2008. Like they could not find active bets placed at casinos. They only found a couple through some sports betting apps. So legal sports betting that they can track, they didn't find a long history. They also pointed out that at one point he had over $34,000 in his checking account and still wired $40,000 from Otani to pay for something. So they're saying like he can afford some of these things. He's just wiring money to do it. They also said that he used Otani's debit card to pay rent without Otani's knowledge.
Man, that's money right there.
throw in
To
some-
where, you know what, rent, let's call it $2,500. Well, he's in LA, maybe $3,800, $4,000. And Otani don't even flinch. You don't even
Nope.
see that. Don't
Doesn't
see
even
that going
realize.
out. That's money right there. The only question I have with this is, I get they have all the evidence, so they're looking at patterns, right? It's not like he's gambling a bunch and he's in extreme debt, but you just don't know the mind and the motivation of somebody. You know, some people just get a high out of doing some stuff, but it is what it is, and we'll see how this all works out. I don't know if I should feel bad for Otani because I don't know how much involvement, how much he really knew what was going on here. Because at some point it felt like his dude was just the fall guy in the situation. But with the more information we get, they're picking up on patterns. It's starting to
There are two things you can believe about Otani. One is that you believe that he knew something. Maybe he was placing bets, and this guy's the fall guy. And I do think there are still some people who believe that. The other thing you can choose to believe about Otani, it's like only one of these things are true. The other is that a man worth, just shy of $100 million right now. I mean, he's got more than that in contract. But let's say his net worth's like $80 million or $100 million. That a man worth that much money didn't have a financial expert, an assistant, someone else overlooking his accounts to be able to go, hey, I'm flagging this $30,000 expense that was just wired, or I just flagged like $5,000 on your debit card. You know what I mean? Like that this guy wouldn't have a money dude is really shocking. However, he clearly had a lot of trust with Ipe. They were exceptionally close. He bought Ipe a car. I think that, Ipe lived really close to him. Like, this was someone he was very dependent on. So that is a believable storyline. It's just, it is wild to me that there was no one else. There are no checks and balances when it comes to, quite literally, Otani's checks and balances.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Pro Bowl games are this weekend for all you sickos. What's the real headline?
Drake May is about to be surrounded by more talent than he's seen all year long.
Well, I watched some of last night via the target throws, and then they had the relay. And I'll tell you one thing, Russell Wilson was trying to prove a point last night.
Yeah.
He was ripping that thing, man. Like, I still got some juice left. And I thought it was funny, man. I'm looking at all of these just specimens out there, right? When they don't have their pads on, you really get to see this, how jacked these dudes are. And here comes Jared Goff.
One.
Jared Goff looking like the dad at the grill who doesn't work out, and he's a Pro Bowler. And it just goes to the conversation we had the other day, is how weird the quarterback position is. He is elite, and he does not look like an elite athlete. It baffles me. Another thing that stood out, there was this relay going on. And the players kept jacking up what they were supposed to do. Pay attention, right? When I coach and two groups on, if the third group messes up, what you been doing this whole time? You're not watching the guys in front of you? I'm watching these Pro Bowlers jack this up. I go, y'all just not paying attention.
Not at all.
Now, granted, they don't really care if they win or lose. But I'm like, let's at least get the procedure right, fellas.
Coming up next, the Mariners are running it back with Jorge Polanco, but maybe we're being too harsh. Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer made a great point about why Polanco had a career-low OPS in 2024 and why that might change in 2025. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Rule changes in the NFL. What should we expect?
Every day at 7:45.
Roger Goodell is going to finally lose the chain gang. One of the things that the USFL that I have been around has actually used and employed the last couple years is Hawkeye technology. There's going to be no more of this, bring the chains out, is it an inch short, is it 6 inch? Nope, you will see that technology employed next year. I strongly believe that.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, let's throw a party this year for the big game.
Oh, great idea. But first, we should get a new TV. One of the top-rated brands, Samsung, LG, or Sony.
Okay, I'll start shopping on the internet and then head over to the Warehouse Club.
Well, but if that's all we do, we'll be sorry.
Why?
Because the best deals on those top-rated TVs are at video only, not online or at the club.
Video only?
Yep. We can save up to $500 if we shop smart.
Or we'll be sorry.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, do you have a car sitting around just collecting dust? How would you like to turn that car into cash? Well, our friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn have a program that's unmatched. They'll buy your car today. They'll pay you up front for your car, but it gets even better. Once they resell your old car, they're going to share half their profit with you. How can they do it? The money they save by not traveling elsewhere to buy cars, auction fees, shipping expenses, as well as the travel expenses, all the money they save on those items is what allows them to offer this program. They'd much rather share that money with you than give it to outside services. And no, they're not going to offer you less for your car. In fact, they encourage you to shop around so you can compare for yourself. But if you can get the same or more money from Wayscar Ford for your car, get all your money right up front, and then once they resell your old car, get half the profit, why would you want to sell your car anywhere else? And it's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. 102 years, family owned and operated in downtown Auburn. That's wayscarford.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
The
Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 8th.
The boat show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
It's the West Coast's biggest boat show with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. The Big Seattle Boat Show. It's a big deal.
The boat show, the boat show. You gotta cruise the boat show. You won't believe how cool it is.
So bring your family. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
Do you want to lose weight fast and keep it off? I'm Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packed food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com, and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and I am one of those 4,000 people. I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks, and it's exactly as Dr. Coogan said. I lost that weight while eating good, quality food that you buy at the grocery store, and it wasn't that hard. Call them at 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossklinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we're getting to the Seahawks in 15 minutes. Gary Kubiak talked about his son, Clint, and how he's evolved as a play caller, what it could mean for the Seahawks. On Brock and Salk this morning, we'll get to that sound again in 15 minutes. Hang tight. First, we're going to take a look at the M's running it back with Jorge Polanco. I know that this offseason has made a lot of people upset. Don't tune out. We're staying put because we're going to, I promise by the end of this segment, my goal is to make you at least intrigued by the return of Jorge Polanco. That's my plan here, okay? Bump, that includes you.
Okay.
Try to sell you on it. Trying to sell you on it.
Big ups Jorge, though, as a person.
Yes. And I always felt really bad. Like, I got it. I'm not going to tell someone not to boo. Totally do what you want as a fan. I did feel bad for Jorge though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
but then
tough.
he when they started booing him, he turned it around for a little bit though. There was like a nice little streak to where
there's a minute where
good.
I was actively rooting just for him when he would go up there like, come on, Jorge, you got this.
Yep.
Jorge Polanco had his career worst OPS with Seattle last year. His best season was in 2019. Obviously, when Seattle brought him in 2024, they were hoping they'd get 2019 Jorge Polanco. The further away you get, because that's the way they do things,
Why?
Bump. You know this. It's the same thing they did with Colton Wong.
Let's go 1, maybe 2 years back.
Yes.
You're going back 5, 6?
I'm just saying, it's the same thing they've done with any other player. When you are working on a limited budget, you're trying to find sponges that might have some water and then wring them for all they're worth. You're like, well, maybe I can get something out of here. And sometimes you get really fun seasons, right? Like sometimes you'll get someone that does work out, but I'd love for that to be less of a gamble, that to be a slightly more sure thing. However, in this year in which he had a season low OPS, he also was dealing with an injury all year long. This is what Mariners insider Shannon Drayer had to say.
I don't think we saw him healthy last year, but again, that track record is there, and that plays into it. Yeah, there's a roll of the dice that he did have the surgery, that he didn't have, the build up to a season that he has normally had, and that he is a year older. But he's been a pretty decent player for a long time. Last year it was it was the outlier. And again, you hope that you can get him back closer to his norm. And you do have to look at it in that it does impact two positions. You've got answers that you didn't have before. I think now you can solidly look at Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss at second base, maybe a challenge from Leo Rivas, but that's a lot better than going in and they literally didn't have a third baseman.
Jorge Polanco underwent surgery in November, I believe, maybe October, to repair a patellar tendon in his left knee. He dealt with that all year long. So he should be ready for spring training. That's what Jeff Pass' report said back in October. But he was dealing with this injury all year. Do I think we're going to see 2019 Jorge Polanco? No. Do I think that there is a fair reason to expect we'll see a better version of Jorge Polanco? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're injured, you're injured. I know people don't want to hear that, but I mean, the common injury when I know people who work in offices and when their shoulder is jacked up, they're in pain. You know, when your knee is aching, you are in pain. Now, imagine doing that or having that pain and having to go out and be an athlete. It affects what you're doing. I think athletes have a higher tolerance for pain. They can kind of push through some things. We're just used to doing that you're only healthy when you first enter training camp or spring training or whatnot. After that, something's always going to bother you. So they have a way of working through things and you not even knowing that they're working through some stuff. So I will give him that. If my man was injured, he was injured. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to leave room and space for him to show that he's healthy and that he can come out and be a better ball player because injuries are real. Mm-hmm. Even if you think they are an excuse, when the body is hurting, you're not going to perform the same way.
A fair question for Shannon then was, well, are you surprised to see Polanco back? Like, this clearly wasn't plan A. Very clearly was not plan A for the Mariners. Here's what Shannon said.
My reaction to the signing with what was left and what was available was it's not surprise. I think that is a direction that they would go in. I think it is probably one of the better players that is left at this point. And I also think, if we think back to the end of the season, there was a lot of speculation if it was worth it to pick up the option on him. And I was a hard no on that, especially at basically double of what he is getting right now.
So for Shannon, not surprised to see him back considering what's left in the free agent market, and also wasn't necessarily upset with the Mariners' decision to move on and not pick up that team option because of the 2024 season we saw. So you did end up technically saving money.
You save some dough?
That's never a good argument.
Yeah, you save some money.
I did an eye roll if you're listening to just the audio version. I understand how frustrating that is to hear.
I mean, that's the reality of it, though. And they're trying to take care of him, right? They're moving him over to third base to where there's less movement and involvement when the ball is in play. So there are things that they are doing to ensure that the 30-year-old is not putting too much stress on his body. He's turning, 31 in July. Oh, yeah, so he's not an old man, but he's not a young man anymore. When you have injuries like that, you got to take care of your guys. And going off of what Shannon said, I think we kind of started the show off with that. Like, what else is out there? What else is really out there that is feasible, that you can really see the Mariners going out there and doing? There's nothing much. So you had to run it back with this guy. I think we were expecting it. Once the first wave of free agency went through and none of the big names were signed at any of the infield spots, and you were like, all right, well, they're going to bring back some guys. Are you happy about it? Probably not. But with this new information, I think that gives you a bit more to look forward to see if he could bounce back because he was banged up last year.
Someone said, why wouldn't you let people know, I think you, the team, why wouldn't the team let fans know that particular player is injured and that's why his production's down? I don't think Curtis or Bump, I'm blanking. The last season is just kind of like so far in the distance for me now. Was it like a secret that Polanco was injured? I don't think it was.
No, he spent some time on the injured list during the season and then came back, played a little bit better, but then had a really rough finish to the season. But yeah, it was known that he was dealing with some bumps and bruises.
Well, and also I think it's that a knee injury doesn't always fully excuse everything, right? Like there is a level of this that's like you were struggling somewhere else. You were struggling with timing, mechanics, whatever it was you were struggling with. It is not like you had a knee injury and now that that's fixed, you're an all-star. Right? So I'm guessing a team doesn't want to. What team wants to come out this season?
A knee, that's mobility. That's shifting your weight. You know, that's torque, right? Everything in sports, these field sports, it starts from the ground up.
Yeah.
I think it affected him more than what people might think. Anything below the hips will jack you up, man. It's all the power starts from the ground. So I could see where that messes him up. I also think it's a domino effect. Like the knee messing him up made him try to compensate in other places. Now your swing is jacked up, and all the stuff that you just mentioned kind of factors into it. It's a domino effect, man.
Some other good texts coming in here, 720. And again, I'm not just doing like positive spin for the sake of it. I'm trying
It's just
to.
real.
I'm real. I'm just trying to take a look at like how might this work? What does it mean? What other context is important? 720. I wonder how Polanco will do with a full year under Edgar. I don't know. I'm curious to see what a full year with Edgar, with Dan Wilson, heck, as the manager means for this team. I was adamant last year that I didn't think Scott Service was the biggest problem, but there is something to be said for what a manager change does to a clubhouse and what instability does to a clubhouse. So a full year with the same guys is helpful.
Yeah, you get Edgar, you get his knowledge and his just him being in your ear correcting stuff. Curtis, 2023 Jorge Polanco does what for this Mariners team?
2023 Jorge Polanco, if he were on the 25 Mariners or even if he were on the 24 Mariners, I think you're talking about a potential playoff team. I think with how close things were with the Mariners at the end of the season, I think they finished, just a couple games out of the AL West. If you get 75% of 2023 Jorge Polanco, you're looking at a much different story to what the 24 ball club was.
See, I like that better than looking at 2019. Forget 2019. I'm tired of hearing about that. I'll take 2023. Okay, a couple years ago. Okay, cool. We got something to work with. He wasn't healthy last year.
Yeah.
I'm searching, folks. And the reason why I'm searching is because that's the way I live my life. Okay, I'm going to take all the stats and the data. I'm going to factor it all in. Even if it's not the move that I wanted, I'm going to factor it in. And if there's a positive in it and there was something that was hindering him from being his best, I'm going to hope that he is healthy and maybe he gives us a little bit more. I will take 2023 instead of hoping for 2019.
All right, let's get away from the Mariners here. Gary Kubiak was on with Brock and Salk this morning to talk about his son Clint's new gig with the Seahawks and on working with Mike McDonald in Baltimore. Good stuff coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Joining us here in the booth, Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill.
Julio being Julio is still going to matter, I think, more than anyone else you bring in. I think he can be a true difference maker, all-star MVP quality. I mean, we all know what his ceiling can be. And I'm actually really confident that he's going to have a big year. And because we have seen it in flashes where he has been among the best players in baseball.
Yeah.
Like the absolute best player that this game has to offer.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. The weather is changing. Don't let it get you down. If you're like me, I like making some plans, man. So make plans with Silver Reef Casino. Make plans on February 9th. The big game is coming, and they got you covered. Try something different. They're having a watch party. Watch the game with people who really care about the game and not just the commercials. There's going to be a bunch of stuff going on. There's going to be a raffle, a buffet. They're going to give away swag. But most importantly, you get to watch the Super Bowl. If you are interested in that situation, visit silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com. And when you're done, don't get on the road. You had a couple drinks, man. Make it a staycation. They got deluxe rooms with great views of Mount Baker and the Sailor Sea. You can also go downstairs. There's amazing on-site dining. They got a bunch of restaurants for you to choose from. So make it a good weekend. February 9th, watch the big game with silverreefcasino.com. That's silverreefcasino.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at a regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com. Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Thursday, February 20th. Common Kings bring their signature sound to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. This Grammy-nominated band has taken the world by storm. Feel the beat, catch the rhythm, and groove to the smooth blend of reggae, rock, and R&B. Common Kings take over the Muckleshoot Event Center, February 20th. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Swedish Cyberknife has been serving the Pacific Northwest with innovative and compassionate care since 2006. Being able to precisely and accurately deliver radiation makes a difference in terms of controlling cancer and reducing the risk of side effects. The treatment is completed in only 5 sessions, lasting less than an hour. Patient surveys consistently give Swedish Cyberknife the highest of rankings. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I'm coming up with so many fun formats for the game show that we're going to have coming up at 1:30. Now, typically I would go traditional, like trivia, back and forth questions, but I'm going to do buzz-in style.
Buzzing.
I want a sense of urgency. I want hearts racing. I want panic that you might have the wrong answer.
I don't panic.
Pure chaos.
I don't
That's
do that.
true. That's true. I should really think of who I'm
Trivia's a
speaking
different
to
beast,
here. Yeah.
Man.
Well,
And, just accept your fate, whatever it is.
I'm very excited. I think it'll be really fun. That's coming up at 1:30. We're just going to have some fun in that final hour. Michael Silver is joining us in 15 minutes. We're going to take a look ahead to Super Bowl 59, and we will eventually get to Clint Kubiak. He's got this great book about Kyle Shanahan and his coaching tree, of which Kubiak is obviously a product. So we'll continue that conversation at 11, but we're going to start it here. Gary Kubiak, Clint's father, was on with Brock and Salk this morning and had a ton to say, obviously, about Kubiak. This was, I'll start here, the foundation of the Kubiak system.
I mean, I grew up with the 49ers. That's where I got my start in coaching. So, Bill Walsh's system there. And, of course, Mike Shanahan was there. And then Mike went to Denver, and I went with and I was with Mike for 14 years as a coordinator. And, those things don't happen nowadays. Guys don't stay in one place that long and work together that long. So I would just say through the years, with Alex Gibbs, our line coach, and the zone scheme, Mike, we all developed a system that's held true for many years. And then all these bright young minds have kind of, moved off in their own directions, whether it's Kyle, whether it's LaFleur, whether it's McDaniel. All these guys have moved off in their direction and put their spin on it. So, that's where my roots come from. Kyle's dad, Mike, was probably the biggest influence on my career. Well, I know he was.
Intrigued by that answer about the foundation of the Kubiak system. This is more of like an interesting NHL or NFL history bit for me.
It's funny. He's calling it the Kubiak system.
I know.
And yet we're associating it with Shanahan.
Or prior to that, Walsh.
Yeah, but then he's talking about Walsh, right? But that's how football is. It all comes in waves, and you take from one generation, one guy who affected the game, and then you make it yours. And then he develops, and those guys go out into the world and expand their football, and you take from them, and it passes on from generation to generation. When I watch film, when I'm game planning for high school, if I'm playing against a team and I'm prepping for a defense, if there is a team that defense is playing against and they do something that I like, I'm taking it, especially if it worked against that team. I'm going to run the same thing. I might tweak a thing or two here. That's just how football works. When you hear it's a copycat league, it really is a copycat league. There's a reason why we see we got 4 or 5 teams running essentially the same thing. There's a reason why Fangio's defense has been spread all throughout the league, because if it works, people are going to use it. But that's also why we see these young coordinators come in and people are intrigued because they see the similarities between a Shanahan offense and say, oh, but he's doing something a little bit different here, and I understand why he's doing it. Let's give this young man a chance. So it's intriguing, and it makes complete sense. That answer makes complete sense.
Yeah. This is the importance of, it seems so simple, but the importance of a good offensive line coach to an OC.
Yeah, it's up front that makes things go. It's a great offensive line and a line coach that helps you as a play caller, help you call the game by saying, Brock, by saying, hey, keep me in a left formation. I can protect this week. Turn to this guy. We can protect this week. Let's attack this guy in the run game. Every offensive coordinator needs a really, really sharp offensive line coach who can help him prepare to call a football game. And I know I leaned on Alex for many, many years, as well as Mike.
I keep turning to what Washington, the Commanders, were able to do this season because no one thought. The reason that no one was talking about Jaden Daniels as a favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year isn't because Jaden wasn't talented. It's because they thought he'd be running for his life. That offensive line was projected to be one of the worst in the league. They were not a top 5, nor even maybe a top 10 offensive line, but they were average. And I'm wondering if coaching can turn the Seahawks not so great offensive line into a better one.
It can. I mean, there are so many rules with offensive line. There's big on big. There's a 2-man slide, a 3-man slide, 5-man slide. The running back takes the backside. It's just getting your offensive lineman to be able to identify, getting your quarterback to understand where he can protect himself, where he's not protected, and everybody's all on the same page and knowing where to throw the football if you are running the rock. Like most pass protections are similar. They might call it something different when it comes to different situations, but there's only so much you can do, right? So now you have the mental aspect of it. Now it's the physical and the chemistry. That's something that I think people don't account for with that offensive line. Say I told you about Chris Jones, how they were sliding the protection his way every single time, which means, okay, if it's a 3-man slide, let's say the center, right guard, right tackle are all sliding that way because he's over there in the 3-tech, and the backside are essentially manned with their 2 guys, right? That slide has to happen, and there has to be some type of chemistry between that center and that guard, or that guard and that tackle, if you are doubling up on a Chris Jones or whatnot. And even in the run game, right, when you're running that duo that everyone likes, which is that inside zone, there's going to be a combination block. And sometimes the guard, because of leverage, is going to go up to that linebacker and take him. But there's no word spoken between these two when he does that. Maybe there's a stunt that goes on, and now the center is going up to that guy. There's no word spoken. It's just feel and chemistry. And I think that's huge when it comes to coaching that offensive line. And then, of course, the technique, having a good base, hands being where they're supposed to be. It's a tricky game coaching that offensive line.
Okay, related. We're sticking with personnel here. The Seahawks need to go shopping this offseason. Limited funds, depending on what you do here. Obviously, you've got your draft picks to work with, but now you've got to tailor that to what could be a new offense. Gary Kubiak talked about the certain types of players Seattle should look for in this system.
I mean, I don't know. Well, we're just all looking for good football players, guys. You know, I mean, there's rumors that we played with smaller offensive linemen, you know, and those type of things. We play with the fullback. We do. But the bottom line is, I mean, you got to do what your team does best. And, you know, you're always trying, I would say, answer that question this way. You're always trying to be built where you have the ability to do a lot of things. You know, you can't pigeonhole yourself. We're a 3-wide team, or, you know, we're a 2-back team. You can't do that because in the NFL, so many things happen from week to week. You've got to be flexible when you're attacking people. So what you have to have is a great system in place that allows you to branch off in a lot of directions.
What do you hear there from Gary Bump?
It's all about foundation, what I hear. It's all about foundation and getting buy-in. But you can say that for everything. For quarterback, D-line, O-line, foundation and buy-in. Because as soon as one person deviates from the plan, things start to crumble down slowly. As soon as one person does not believe in the philosophy or the coach and the teaching, that's when things start to. It's like a slow death, right? You got a little puncture and you just sitting there leaking, and you know only got like a few hours, man. It's a slow death once one person deviates from the system, and it shows up the most on an offensive line.
Gary also talked about working with Mike McDonald in Baltimore. I didn't have time to get to that cut, but you guys can check out his interview at Brock and Salk podcast. Coming up next, how can Jalen Hurts and the Eagles stop a three-peat for the Chiefs? And how can the Seahawks find themselves in a February conversation sooner rather than later? The Athletics' Michael Silver joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
You want my positive spin for this year? Jorge Polanco's back at a reduced rate.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
You didn't have to pay what it would have cost to pick up his option. You're saving about $5 million on that, which he could earn back, it looks like, in incentives, which is fine. If he has the kind of year that he was expected to have when he was brought in to be the number 3 hole hitter on this team, great. You'll happily pay him the other $5 million, right?
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close. And they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, I said and hotel. If you're looking for a fun night out, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel is just the place to go. Whether it's Vista Prime Steak and Seafood with their reimagined happy hour or Falls Buffet as well. The breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. You can find all the details at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Only 30 minutes from downtown. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires pre-postponed and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Your favorite Seattle sports show is available anywhere you go through the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Full shows and interviews, exclusive video and articles from the home of the Seahawks and Mariners.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are bringing back a familiar face. Seattle reunited with infielder Jorge Polanco on a one-year, $7.7 million contract per ESPN. Polanco answers a question for Seattle at third base, but he's also coming off a career-low OPS of .651 last season with the M's. His best year was in 2019. It's clearly the version the Mariners are counting on in 2025.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Our next guest is a national columnist for The Athletic, and his newest book, The Why is Everything, A Story of Football, Rivalry, and Revolution, is available everywhere now. It's The Athletic's Michael Silver on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. I mean, I'm excited. Once we get to this weekend, obviously there's no Super Bowl, but it's like I know that we're jumping into the week ahead. So I'm especially excited to dive into that conversation with you. I will start with obviously the main team everyone's talking about, the Chiefs, with a chance to three-peat. Michael, this is such a weird Chiefs team. I was looking up some of their offensive stats, and they're great on third down, but it just doesn't seem like a team that would be 15-2. What keeps them winning constantly?
I look at all those numbers and I just see 15. Like I don't know. He just makes it all okay. It's crazy. I mean, they have won 17 one-score games in a row. Think about that. That's crazy. It is an NFL record. So yeah, we look for things like what we saw from the Eagles last week, like, oh my God, they're a machine, they're monsters, they're killing everybody. But that guy just always wins. And, you know, Andy Reid's obviously doing an incredible job. They've got, you know, some really good players over there, and they do a lot of things right. But he's transcendent. And, you know, I saw that game in Kansas City in person. You know, there have been so many times where I look at a game going, well, I kind of think the other team is probably the team I should pick, but I'm just going to pick Mahomes. And he just almost inevitably comes away as the winner.
Hey, Michael, want to send love to Palisades. That's where you're from, right? Went to high school out there?
Yeah, I went to Palisades High. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
what a harrowing situation down there, and beautiful community that unfortunately got ravaged. Thank you.
Yeah, I got family in Oxnard down the hill from you guys, and they had to get out of there and head west to Culver City where I'm at. So just wanted to show some love real quick before I ask my question, man. Is there a coach? Like we focus on Andy Reid as we should. We focus on Pat Mahomes as we should. But as you know, man, there are so many coaches on this coaching staff that help this thing go. It's not just the talent. It might be the ball boy or somebody. Is there a coach that you feel like should get a bit more love on this coaching staff for the Chiefs that doesn't?
Great question. I'm a big Matt Nagy guy, and I know people think about his time with the Bears in an unflattering way. It ended poorly. He did lose that playoff game on the infamous double doink, which is tough luck. But I think it probably ages pretty well if you go back. And he was a first-time head coach. You know, he had Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback, now a Bills backup. He tried to make it work with Nick Foles. And they still, you know, did some pretty good things. And yet, since he's been gone, I think we've seen the inherent dysfunction of that organization. Now, when Matt Eberflus melted down in front of all of our eyes on Thanksgiving, and he was then fired, and then Kevin Warren, the team president, stood up there at the press conference saying, this will be the most attractive of all the head coaching jobs. And I'm thinking, are the owners selling between now and the hiring? Because, like, I really don't think it is. So they did get Ben Johnson, who was a hot property, but I think Matt Nagy will be a much better head coach if and when he gets a second opportunity. And he's a really content guy as the offensive coordinator. Obviously, Andy Reid is the mastermind, but they are aligned. Matt Nagy was there at the beginning with Patrick Mahomes. They have a great relationship. So, you know, obviously Vic Fangio and Steve Spagnuolo justifiably get a ton of love in this context, but I'm going to stick up for Nagy here.
Before bringing you on, we teased your appearance as, hey, let's learn how Jalen Hurts and the Eagles can stop a three-peat for the Chiefs if that is to happen. So I'll throw the question your way now, Michael, and ask an incredibly talented Eagles team, even if the Chiefs feel inevitable, how can they get this done?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, Jalen Hurts, like, is it going to be the Jalen Hurts we saw against the Rams? Because then it just doesn't feel possible that they could win despite all their talent. Or is it going to be the Jalen Hurts we saw last week? It was like, that guy's good. Is it going to be the Jalen Hurts we saw 2 years ago against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? That guy's going to win. Like, I know he didn't win that one, but that was one of the great Super Bowl performances by a quarterback. And I, you know, kind of blew my mind. Whoa, I didn't know Jalen Hurts is this great. And he hasn't always been week to week since then, but, you know, at least we've seen it. So, yeah, it is an interesting question with this Eagles team because we focus so much on head coach and quarterback as a football watching culture. And if you look at head coach and quarterback, it's really hard for me not to see a massive advantage at head coach for the Chiefs and a big, big advantage at quarterback, you know, the aforementioned Mr. Mahomes, who has an advantage over everybody. But everything else, you go, well, I mean, the Eagles' offensive line, monstrous and playing at an insane level, even with some injuries. Saquon Barkley, yeah, I do think maybe it's good to pay some running backs. He's okay. A.J. Brown's obviously an elite receiver and also, lets us know when he's not getting the ball by catching up on his reading on the sideline. So I respect that. There are other ways of acting out that are a little more ruinous. I think that one's relatively harmless. And then that defense with Fangio obviously putting his schematic touch on it, but, 2 rookie corners who are in that defensive rookie of the year conversation, an absolute revelatory inside linebacker in Zach Bond, who, nobody saw that coming. That was amazing. Jalen Carter, who is probably the biggest reason they were able to survive that Rams game with that incredible sack, who's an elite player. And, maybe even my guy Brandon Graham coming back for one last game. So, I feel like the Eagles' talent level is insane, but, we do think that head coach and quarterback matter. So all of that is a big diss on Nick Sirianni relative to Andy Reid, which I will stand on. I think, the Eagles have a good offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, a great defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio, some great assistant coaches. I think Nick's obviously able to get his team to a high level, but I question the emotional self-control and the weird just things that he fixates on. And I don't know how he's doing it, but bless him.
I'm going to tie back to the Seahawks here with Philly. It's something that pops up on our text line all the time, and we've had conversation about it. Jalen Carter and Devin Witherspoon, right? Hindsight is always 20/20. You can look at it now and say, well, Jalen Carter's a Pro Bowler, so is Devin Witherspoon. Do you feel like 2 years removed from the situation that the Hawks made the right situation in getting Devin Witherspoon, or do you feel like they'd be a different defense with Jalen Carter?
That's a great question, and it was Pete. And Pete, when he sees something in a defensive back, it usually tracks. Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, et cetera, et cetera. So, I totally respect that. I would just say this: I don't minimize what Jalen Carter had gone through at the end at Georgia. That horrible drag racing situation and tragic ending. And I can understand why teams weren't just I'm going all in on this guy, because that did certainly cause some concerns that were understandable. So I think if you factor that in, it'd be one thing if they took someone who just was unproductive or just an overly safe pick. But, Witherspoon was kind of a swing, and we've seen the excellence. So I think I'm going to forgive him on that one.
Your book, The Why is Everything, obviously makes clear an extensive knowledge of Kyle Shanahan, a fascinating person that's, going to be an interesting part of the history of the NFL when we tell that story. We just hired here in Seattle someone from the Shanahan tree and Clint Kubiak. What did you make of that move by the Seahawks, and what do you make of Kubiak?
Well, I would argue that Seahawks fans understand the tree pretty well because they had Shane Waldron there, who's from the McVay branch of it. So, it is a tree with many tentacles, as this book gets at. The Why is Everything. I think people will love it. But, I don't know how Seahawks fans felt about the Shane Waldron experience. Brian Schottenheimer, another offensive coordinator who was there, I don't know how they felt about that one. He is now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people didn't see that coming. But, it is interesting in the NFL because, you can know the system and you can be really promising having come from it. But when you call it on your own and when you relate to quarterbacks and relate to players and get up in front of the room, it's somewhat uncharted territory. So I would look at Kubiak, like the first 2 games, the Saints this season, I think scored 91 points, and people were like, oh my God, this is the next one. It's crazy. This guy's like a G. And then it got really hard for them to score. Mike McDaniel, when I was finishing the book, dropped 70 in an NFL game in Miami and was taking knees to avoid setting an NFL all-time record for points in a game. And then when the book came out, he couldn't buy a point. So I would have probably flipped that if in a perfect world. But, Bobby Slowick would be the latest example. Bobby Slowick came before Kubiak from the Shanahan staff and went to Houston with D'Amico Ryans. C.J. Stroud had this unbelievable year. They won a playoff game, and Bobby Slowick was getting crazy head coaching love, like the same kind Liam Cohen was suddenly getting this year. And it looked like he might actually be a head coach off of that 1 year. He stayed. They went 10-7 again. They won a playoff game again, and he just got fired. So, the league comes at you fast. I don't think we know until we know. We know about Shanahan. We know about McVay. I think we, have seen from McDaniel and certainly Matt LaFleur and Raheem Morris is the fifth subject of my book, that they are on it enough to thrive anywhere when it works. We just don't know yet about either Kubiak because his brother is now going to be Kyle's offensive coordinator nominally in San Francisco.
I don't know how much you've kind of gotten into the quarterback class coming up. There's a lot of people that have Cam Ward number one. There's a lot of people that have Shedeur number one, and then Jason Dart after his week at the Senior Bowl has kind of shot up as well. How would you compare this class to last year's class? Obviously, I think last year's class was better. But are there any sleepers in this class, or do you think it's pretty straightforward? It's Cam Shedeur, and then you hope to get lucky with a Jalen Milroe or a Jackson Dart?
Well, we sure know more about last year's class now, so it's not really a fair fight. But apparently Jaden Daniels is, right up there with Dan Marino as the most electrifying, amazing rookie quarterback from the jump that I've ever seen, and that's saying a lot. Bo Nix looks like a dude. I saw enough from Michael Penix. God, one of those fourth down passes in that game against the Commanders to keep them alive. I was like, whoa. I've seen it from him. Caleb, you've kind of seen it, but, we're going to know now that he's got Ben there, and we'll see how that goes. And so you look at that class, we haven't seen McCarthy, obviously, but you're like, wow, that's going to probably age really well, especially with Daniel. So, I'm not a scout, and I don't watch enough college football to really know. I've known Deion for decades, and, I'm sure Shedeur is made of the right stuff. I've been really impressed by what I've seen from him as a person and a player. So that's intriguing to me. I've seen Cam Ward in various contexts, very intriguing guy. But, from listening to the talent evaluators and personnel people that I know over the last few weeks and months, there's kind of a lot of whining, like, these cornerbacks aren't very good. But, that changes. They gets closer to the draft, and all those teams that need quarterbacks start talking themselves into, like, Jake Locker's going to change our franchise. Sorry, that's kind of a low blow up in
personal,
your way.
Personal,
you know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. But, I don't think there's on paper a Jaden Daniels in this draft, or, by the way, probably any other draft for a long time.
See, my favorite and what I can't wait for every year is the annual decision of, insiders or reporters or whoever else going, I totally saw this coming. Whoever it is.
My favorite is, I wish I probably could search the texts and emails, but if I had, a Manny's Pale Ale for every person who told me we were right about to take Russell Wilson.
Oh my God!
He was our guy, and then the Seahawks took him. Then I would be hammered. Yeah. And by the way, my answer is always the same. You got to give me credit on this. I always go, yeah, but you didn't. John Schneider did. So respect the man for taking him. He took him. And, I know listen, and I know that I'm not. It has to really hit me over the head in college for me to go, wow, that guy's going to be a great pro. Like when I saw Ricky Williams in college, I was like, yeah, I think he'll probably be pretty good. Like if you're a complete monster on the college football field, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I think that'll work. But sometimes you just don't know. But I do know this. We always hear like, oh, well, Travis Hunter's the best athlete. He'll probably go one, or this edge rusher. Like, people always end up talking themselves into the quarterbacks as the top picks, because even if you don't need one and you're picking one, you'll probably trade out and let someone overpay to get there who needs one. And there are still teams that need them.
He is the Athletics' Michael Silver, and we really appreciate your time. We know you've got a busy week. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys don't have to go down there and beat your livers for 9 days like I do you?
No, we don't. You'll have to have a couple.
I was wondering why you were like so excited for the. No, I listen. Every Super Bowl should be in New Orleans. It makes the most sense there. You
Absolutely.
can walk, you can handle the parties. They should blow up the Superdome, put a retractable roof stadium there, and play them all there. But that's just me. Thanks for having me.
So jealous. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Cougar wide receiver Michael
Yeah,
Bumpus.
but when I was a teenager.
Everywhere you visit is such watered down, though. You're such this, I'm going to wake up early, have my coffee,
Okay.
I'm going to walk around. Like, get in them streets, you know what I'm saying? You got to feel the vibe.
Okay, I felt the vibe. I was there on a trip for band, and we had a great time.
Okay.
First down, Bump. You gave yourself homework last night. What was it? What did you find?
All right, my homework was based off of this here.
Every time, and they still do what they do. They still do the same that when I was playing Tomlin's defense.
Steeler football.
I'm like, what the? We still have linebackers covering the 3 slot?
Yeah.
Every time we play the Steelers, I have at least 9 catches. Coach, you would think that they would change it.
They're right.
No, but they do what they do.
See, that's Julian Edelman talking about the Pittsburgh's defense. He says linebackers covering the 3 slot. So he's talking about in the trips formation, the 3rd wideout. So you count outside in when you number the receivers, outside 1, middle 2, and then 3. So I went back and I just watched a game. I didn't go deep into it. I looked at the Commanders versus the Steelers and said, let's see how they're playing this. And he's right most of the time. There are times when they get into a nickel and that nickel gets down there, but for the most part, they're a 3-4 defense. It kind of looks like a 5-man front because you have 3 defensive linemen. You have those edge rushers, right? You got Watt and his homie on the other side. They'll walk down and it'll look like a 5-man front, and that's how the box will count it out. But there are some times where there's a slot or 3 receivers to the right side, and Watt is over the 3rd receiver, and all he's trying to do is jack him up and release in a zone. And if I'm Edelman, I understand exactly what he's talking about. If I'm a receiver and I see big old Watt over me, I'm not letting him get his hands on me. I'm around him. I'm getting the football fairly quickly. They did that a lot. They did also bring in a nickel, get rid of a linebacker, and cover him that way. But for the most part, my man is right. So now you're asking Watt to reroute this receiver and then a lot of the times drop into a zone. That's not what you pay him for. You pay him to get after the quarterback. So what they'll do is they'll flop it sometimes and have their other edge rusher do that. But that's not what you pay these guys to do. They can do it. They're the most athletic guys on the football field, in my opinion. But Edelman might be on to something.
Very interesting. 2nd down. People have been throwing around Milton's name as an option at quarterback for the Seahawks. What have you seen from his film?
Joe Milton, he got one game of action last year.
And it was great.
And it was pretty good, right? So I'm looking at him in my one-game analysis. He has great balance and a good base in the pocket. He looks really calm. Chaos is going on around him. We know that was the worst, according to PFF, the worst offensive line in the game. He looked calm. Good ball security. There's something that quarterbacks do in the pocket where they're getting rushed on the edge. It's called a climb. It's like you slide up inside the pocket. 2 hands on the football. He's sliding up inside the pocket. He's a threat in the run game, so you can get those zone option deals when you're reading the end and he's making decisions there. And he's a strong arm. Only one game. And that one game did intrigue me and get me interested. I remember watching the highlights on SportsCenter thinking, man, my dude looks good. Now, after going and watching the All-22, he does look good. He looks like a project. He looks like someone. I mean, you're drafted in the 6th round for a reason. It doesn't mean you can't be something great. We've seen that happen before. But I'm intrigued. So all you people who've been texted in, hey, Joe Milton, if they were to bring him over here as a backup, I would not be mad at all. The young man got some talent.
Okay, 3rd down. What rule do you want to see the NFL adopt?
Get rid of the onside kick. Just get rid of the onside kick. That's not a real chance to get the football back. Granted, here in Seattle, we appreciate the onside kick.
A famous one.
Right? Famous one. but onside kicks in 2024 had a 6.45% success rate. Come on now. So this is what I propose. I looked up 4th and 15. Right, 4th and 15 is converted 21% of the time. 4th and 15 plus is converted 13% of the time. Just make it a one and done. Look, we want to get the ball back. You can only do it one time in the fourth quarter. Okay, one time in the fourth quarter. 4th and 15, we're going to line them up, and if we get it, we get the ball back. Let's make it interesting because you don't really have a chance. 6% chance. If a doctor tells you, hey, man, you got 6% chance of not making it through the surgery, you're probably thinking, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
You think you're gone?
A 6% chance of not making it?
Of not making it means like you have a 94% chance of making it. He said, I'm gone. 6%?
Yeah, you got a 6% chance of making it through this thing, so you might want to live it up today.
You guys want to wrap it up.
That's how I heard it. I was like, oh my God.
But man, 6%, that's no real chance. So let's go 4th and 15. Let's line it up. Let's make it interesting. Give these guys a real chance, but only one time you can do it, only in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's it.
4th down. Anything stand out from our interview with Michael Silver?
Nah, I just love that, just the history. I love how it's almost like when people go to new places, when we're exploring the world and we make it ours. This is my land. Like, actually, nah, people have been here like for thousands of years, right? That's how I look at offenses. The way he was describing, like the progression from Walsh, Shanahan, and out of these guys. You know, this is a Kubiak offense. It's a version. It is Kubiak because he's the guy who's calling the plays and making all his tweaks and stuff. But just like history, man, you got to look at why stuff happened, where it comes from, and it gives you understanding of the growth and the evolution of something. So I just appreciated that, man. I appreciated him walking us down a little bit and having us football historians tap into something and look for similarities, because Walsh changed the game with that West Coast offense, and it's still relevant today.
All right, coming up next, take a look around the NFL. We all believe in second chances, and Liam Cohen, new Jags head coach, got into a little bit of viral fame by a very cringeworthy team chant, but he got another shot. He got another shot at it. Let's see if he fixed it. That's next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Rule changes in the NFL. What should we expect?
Every day at 7:45.
Roger Goodell is going to finally lose the chain gang. And one of the things that the USFL that I have been around has actually used and employed the last couple years is Hawkeye technology. There's going to be no more of this, bring the chains out, is it an inch short, is it 6 inch? Nope, you will see that technology employed next year. I strongly believe that.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Yes, I said and hotel. If you're looking for a fun night out, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel is just the place to go. Whether it's Vista Prime Steak and Seafood with their reimagined happy hour or Falls Buffet as well. The breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. You can find all the details at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Only 30 minutes from downtown. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 8th.
Boat show, the boat show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
It's the West Coast's biggest boat show with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. The Big Seattle Boat Show. It's a big deal.
Boat show, the boat show. You gotta cruise the boat show. You won't believe how cool it is.
So bring your family. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For over 55 years, you've trusted us for roofing, siding, windows, decking, and gutters. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors.
The Seattle Golf Show, Friday, February 7th and Saturday the 8th at the Seattle Convention Center has 100 exhibits. Buy tickets online and get up to 4 rounds of golf and get free balls while they last at the door. Shop the huge Putts Golf Sale. Kids under 12 are free. VIP tickets at seattlegolfshow.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double cheeky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only, select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Members, it's here. Milo's Rewards Week deals for members only are up for grabs. Get up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Plus, members save $10 per gallon of Stainmaster Performance Interior Paint. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today and get instant access to Milo's Rewards Week deals. Lowe's knows home improvement. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Detail at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-OA.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see on your own timelines. And we are going to get started with one from ESPN's Bill Barnwell. He has an interesting idea for sports books to curtail athletes from throwing games.
The common thread here between the Jonte Porter case and the allegations here against Terry Rozier are that these are prop bets and under prop bets for a player who does not play very many minutes or way fewer minutes than somebody was expecting. And this is a relatively new thing to the sports gambling world. I mean, gambling and sports has been going on as long as there's been sports, but you could not go to your local bookie 20 years ago and bet on a random player's under for rebounds in a game.
Right. This is actually a great idea.
That is a great idea because if there's no under, there's no reason for them to throw anything. There's no reason for them to go out there and not give it their all. I think this is genius, low key. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not a gambler. I don't bet like that. So maybe people in the betting world are like, easy bump. I mean, we've already had that conversation. But listen, I am ignorant when it comes to this stuff because I don't bet. But I think that to me, That is the fix right there. Easy.
Yeah, well, it would be the same as like you can never take away a win-loss. Like you can't make it impossible for someone to bet on a team losing, right? I mean, if you're betting on a team winning, the obvious outcome is that the other doesn't. So in terms of what you can control, this is something else you can control. You can control, like you said, if you leave a game. Like what people are worried about are players pulling themselves from games, intentionally not surpassing a certain number, but like, I mean, what did like Pete Rose always say? Like, if you never bet against your team, like basically that he saw it as less harmful gambling when you were betting on good things. So that's kind of what Bill Barnwell's saying. Like, it doesn't necessarily filter players out from doing it, especially if they're doing it through other people, but it keeps them from pulling themselves from competition.
Yeah. Side note, Curtis, Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I agree. Just want to know what he thought.
Next up, new Jags head coach Liam Cohen was given another shot at getting Jackson's Duval chant down. This was the first attempt.
Duval.
I've been repeating that for days. Duval. As you know, in the sports bet, I've just been going, Duval. This is the second attempt.
Duval.
Did we hear an improvement?
Yeah.
Okay.
It went from Duval to Duval. Duval. That sounds strong. It sounds like 65,000 can say that. 65,000 ain't saying Duval.
I love that cut.
Oh.
Duval to
Duval.
There you go.
There's a big emphasis on the do, though. Duval.
We got to find a clip of the fans actually saying it. They'll let us know if he's right or not.
I think
but the second one sounds better.
Yeah, I appreciate him leaning heavy into this. I'm going to be part of this culture. I'm part of this fan base. Like, I want to embrace it. It's just so unintentionally cringeworthy. I kind of like it. I don't know. It's like a lot of people were making fun of him, and I guess, a little bit. But it weirdly made me like him more.
Yeah, I like some nerdy, awkward stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I'm good for it. I like it.
Next up here, a day after Utah Hockey Club selected 3 nicknames as finalists for fans to vote on, they've replaced Wasatch with Outlaws. This after receiving significant support for the new nickname on social media. This means the new finalists are the Utah Mammoth, Utah Hockey Club, or Utah Outlaws.
What's a Wasatch?
I have no idea.
What is it? Anybody know?
What?
What's a Wasatch?
What's a Wasatch?
It's like a mountain range.
Oh, I thought it was like a Sasquatch.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm glad.
Like maybe it was their
that.
version of Bigfoot.
Yeah, but see, like that presents the problem is like people don't know what that is right off the jump. You know what an outlaw is. You know what a mammoth is. You know what a hockey club is.
I personally think hockey club is just strong. It's simple and it's strong.
What?
But outlaws in the mix, you got to go outlaws. And I think that,
nice.
And if you know the history of Utah, the Mormons, you know what I'm saying? The Mormons got a history, okay? And that makes complete sense to me, the outlaws. So, yeah, I mean, I liked Utah Hockey Club, but if it ain't Yeti, which... so mad at that.
I know.
If it ain't Yeti, I think it's Outlaws.
Utah Hockey Club abbreviates to UHC, which is also United Healthcare. If you're worried about the brands with Yeti, like, okay, well, if people go, oh, UHC, and now you're already a recognizable thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm between Mammoth and Outlaws. I don't like it when it's like Washington football team, Utah Hockey Club, unless you're a Premier League soccer team.
That's why, because I watch Premier Soccer,
exactly.
So I feel it.
I don't like it outside. That's
it ain't us. They ain't like us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't like it for non-soccer teams. I never have, never will. Make it an animal. Make it literally anything else. I'm team Outlaws. I don't know. I think
I'm
cool.
rolling with Outlaws.
Yeah. Next up, one of the NBA's biggest load management stars, Zion Williamson, is pushing back on the notion that he doesn't want to play in as many games as possible.
Let me make this clear to everybody out there. If I can play in the back-to-backs, I would. I physically, yes, I can. But I work for the Pelicans. They have decided that based off the numbers, it's not smart to do that right now. So, if that's what they feel, I'm rocking with them on that. But yes, if I could play in a back-to-back, I would.
Bump, what do you think?
There's a reason why they say it's not good for him. Because you're 6'6", 284 pounds. That body can't handle it. He's too heavy. He need to drop like 30 pounds, and he just won't. My man is in love with the calories, and you live your
Same.
life. All good. But he hasn't gone a full season. First year, 24 games. Second year, 61. Third game, 29. Fourth year, 70. And now 13. They played at least, 35, 40 games now. That's on him. There's a reason why they're not allowing him to play that many games, because they know his eating habits ain't on point, and that body just can't take 6'6", 284 pounds.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. So,
That would be huge for a tight end.
yeah, he works for the Pelicans. You got to do what you do, but you can do something to help this situation.
A really good point. When I initially saw this, I also saw Steph Curry talking about load management, and he said there's a really, I'm paraphrasing, there's a popular misconception that it's on players pulling themselves, but a lot of this is also on teams trying to take care of their people and maybe telling you, like, no, you're not going to do this actually. And so I thought the conversation was really about, like, hey, like, everyone wants to talk about NBA players being divas, and there are times when we can fairly have those conversations, but part of load management is also precautionary. In fact, the entirety of load management is almost always precautionary. However, there's a difference, you're right, you're totally right, between, hey, this guy's injury prone. Like, this guy just cannot stay healthy. You got like a Derrick Rose situation, like someone where you're like, man, just the worst luck. And someone who maybe doesn't take care of himself. And then the team has to tell you.
For example, Joel Embiid, 7 feet, 280. He weighs less than Zion. And I understand the stress on his body because he's 7 feet. And he still weighs less than Zion, man. You got to take care of your investments. They're paying these guys a lot. Basketball players get paid a lot of money. I understand these basketball teams trying to make sure their guys are ready to go towards the end of the season. But I will reiterate, there's something Zion can do to help this.
I mean, Bump, you're not considering the food selection in New Orleans. It's probably amazing.
Sure it is.
You get beignets.
Say no, man.
You know what I mean?
Just say no.
Oh, God, I can't imagine.
If you paid me $100 million over 3 years, I'll eat whatever you want me to eat.
Oh, I would eat a single bowl of rice every day if that's what you were paying me. Time for the IRG injury report, brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Dan Wilson gave an update on where Matt Brash is at in his rehab from Tommy John surgery.
Matt was a big part of our bullpen a couple years ago, missed all last year, and by all accounts is on track for where he should be. Not 100% to know exactly when that's going to be, but we do hope sometime, by mid-season, we'll definitely see Matt, and I know he is anxious to get rolling. It is a long process. It would be good to get down to spring training, get a chance to see him and see how his progression is going.
And that's the latest on Brash. Coming up next, who are the best quarterbacks in the NFC, and is it a problem if Geno isn't one of them?
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Gary Kubiak, father of Clint, kind enough to take a few minutes with us. Of course, longtime NFL head coach.
He went through a lot in New Orleans last year, which is going to make him a better coach. They lost a ton of players. They had to figure out from Wednesday to Sunday how they're going to try to figure out how to move the ball, and that makes you better in the long haul. But it's my understanding, and I know Mike very well. I think he wants to run the football, and I think in the NFL, if you play good defense and run the ball, you got a chance every week.
Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people, and we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships, because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck, and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees, because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
In a sea of thousands of competitors, Riverside Roofing continues to stand out. And guess what? They got openings this winter for your roof project. Call 425-949-8252 or go to riversideroofingllc.com. The roofing company you can trust.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
I fall in love with you more every single morning.
Babe, you're my favorite. My heart belongs to you.
At Shane Company, our fine jewelry says it all without saying a word. This Valentine's Day, give a gift they'll love. We have pieces you can personalize or classic gifts that are ready to go. Shop our collection of meaningful gifts, like necklaces engraved with flowers and a message of love. Or give timeless diamond studs or a stylish 14-karat gold chain. We have so many romantic gifts, no matter your budget. Just call us Cupid. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Bonneville, Seattle, and Seattle Sports are looking for organizations that regularly distribute information about employment opportunities to job applicants or have job applicants to refer. If your organization would like to receive notifications of job vacancies, please notify Human Resources at 1820 Eastlake Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102, or email us at seattlealljobs@bonneville.com or call 206-726-6902. Bonneville is an equal opportunity employer.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Jackson Hewitt makes Texas feel like a rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Something amazing is happening here. Scientists are using AI to study how whales talk to each other. CDW experts can give researchers the power to process complex data with HP workstations, advanced by AMD Ryzen Threadripper Pro processors. With easier handling of AI workloads, your organization can bring powerful insights to the surface. Make amazing happen. HP, AMD, and CDW. More at cdw.com/HPAMD.
Is chronic pain beginning to make your everyday life a challenge? Then call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, with Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. With over 30 years of experience, no one has more experience in pain medicine techniques and stem cell therapy than Dr. Nelson. And here's what a satisfied patient had to say.
Well, that seems to be a genetic thing. All the men on my dad's side of the family have bad backs. Since my mid-20s, it would swell up and I would lose range of motion, and it was very, very painful to stand or walk, and so I had to miss work. So he went in there and gave me the stem cell injection, and it's great now. I get to keep all my original equipment, if you will. No permanent loss of range of motion, in and out in a day. That's totally worth it. And I couldn't recommend Dan Nelson more highly.
So don't let pain control your life. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD. Call 425-823-4000 today. That's 425-823-4000, or go to danielnelsonmd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
So, Bump, this segment was in part inspired by a 4-down territory you had a couple weeks ago. It was also inspired by a segment on First Take this morning. The segment this morning was about, if Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win, does that catapult Jalen Hurts into a top 5 conversation, a top 10 conversation? Like, where does he rank with quarterbacks league-wide? I wanted to just, inspired by your 4-down territory, isolate it to the NFC. Who are the best quarterbacks in the NFC? Because the AFC is going to take it. 1 through 5, you could make a case for the AFC right now. So that's boring. Let's go best quarterbacks in the NFC, and then we're going to eventually get to a conversation about if Geno isn't one of them, is that a problem? Like, how big of a problem is that for Seattle? So who you got?
All right, so no specific order, just the top 5?
Top 5.
All right, we'll go Jaden Daniels, obviously.
Which is crazy. 1 year in.
1 year in.
And yet I'm not disagreeing.
We'll go Jared Goff. We will do Jalen Hurts. Then, I mean, if Sam Darnold was going to be here, I might put him in the situation. We don't know if are we assuming he's with the Minnesota Vikings?
Let's take Sam Darnold out because
Okay,
we don't
take
know
him
where
out.
he's going to land.
Then we got to go Matthew Stafford. I got one more spot.
It's tough.
Oh, man, it's out of Jordan Love and Dak Prescott.
I wondered if Baker Mayfield.
Oh, snaps.
I had Baker. Yes.
No, it's Baker.
Okay.
It's Baker.
So our list, neither of our lists, mine was the same. I just had Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
I have Matthew Stafford a little higher, but I'm also going on just an overall picture of Matthew Stafford. It's tough because he's been dealing with injuries, and they've been dealing with injuries as a team. So I don't know that we have the best measure of who he is right now, but he was still top 5.
Yeah.
Geno is not on the list for either of us. I know that there are people listening that would have Geno on the list, and I know that there are some listening that absolutely would not. Is it a problem that he's not? Like, let's say Geno isn't one of the top 5 quarterbacks. And again, it's kind of a messy group, right? You heard, Bump get to the end and go, man, you can make the case for a couple guys, but there are 5 AFC dudes I'd take over this guy immediately. Is it a problem for Seattle that Geno isn't one of those guys?
No, I don't think so. I don't if other things happen. Because he's not top 5, but he's like 6 or 7, I think. Damn, that's tough, man. Because I think he has top 5 ability, right? But we have to go off of what we saw last year. You got to look at numbers. You have to look at ability. All these guys have better numbers than Geno, especially when it comes to taking care of the football. You can point to different reasons for that, what you believe in and why Geno turned the football over a bunch last year. I think there's a lot to do with that. But we're just going off of last year. And last year, Geno kind of threw himself out of that top 5. But I think that with the year he had in 2023, he'd probably be in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 1 year that kind of derailed things. And I also think that he was asked to do a lot more with less when it comes to the offensive line. So I don't think it's a problem because I think that he can be in the top 5. I think in 2025, he might be in the top 5 if certain things happen. He just cuts down on the turnovers, and the offensive line does a better job of protecting him and contributing to him not having to force the ball and turn the football over. So no, I don't think it's a problem. It's a problem if you're thinking Super Bowl.
I was literally in my head thinking it's only a problem if you're thinking the Seahawks must win a Super Bowl in 2025 because they don't have the pieces.
Yeah.
And that includes Geno right now. I mean, like, I don't want to undersell Geno. I know, no surprise, Nelson and Kent saying that Geno is number 1.
Oh, we
Nelson,
knew. I'm surprised
I
it took
know
him so
Nelson.
long.
I know you.
He said number 1.
Number 1. I'm not going to. Of course, it's Nelson.
My brother in Christ.
We love you, Nelson. But I would not have him as number 1. I do think that, there is a lot of context that people should add to their analysis of Geno playing behind that offensive line. Like, yes, a lot of important things going through many offensive coordinators. That's an important part of his story.
Yeah.
I feel like I give Geno credit where it's due and then fight for credit where it's due and he doesn't get enough of it. But Geno is included in the list of weapons where the Seahawks could technically upgrade. Like, if I wanted to paint a Super Bowl team, it would look a lot more like the Eagles than it would with what the Seahawks were rolling out. And I think that's the case for 99% of people.
Yeah, Geno has to play better. He has to play better to get into that top 5. Are there things that affect Geno's play? Yes. Are there some things like, look, I attribute almost half of those interceptions to things that's going bad in him trying to make a play. But the other half is like, all right, well, now you just have to take care of the football. We've seen him have less than 10 interceptions in a season. He's more than capable of doing it. But end of the day, he has to play better. He has the ball in his hands. And I think he understands that. And I also think that he understands that, look, there are some things that happen that allowed some defenses to get after me and make plays on the football. So, let's talk about PFF. Top offensive lines in the game, according to them, right? We got Philadelphia 1, Broncos, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Buffalo, Green Bay at 6, Kansas City 7, Carolina 8, Baltimore 9, Commanders 10, Atlanta 11, Indianapolis 12. I'm going to go to 15. San Fran 13, Rams 14, and Miami 15. The top 5 that we just mentioned, I think most of them were hit. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. We didn't mention the Broncos AFC. Tampa Bay, we got your boy Baker. Detroit Lions, we got our guy Jared Goff. And Green Bay Packers, we were figuring out if Love is going to be in that thing. So there's a correlation to offensive line and quarterback play. Like, there's no denying that. So when you look at Geno and you just point out the flaws in the numbers, you also got to realize that, man, what's that song? The neck bone connected to the hip bone, the hip bone. Like,
it's all connected.
That's football. Everything is connected. And all of these offensive lines in the top 10, minus the Carolina Panthers, all these guys made the playoffs. All of them made the playoffs. So take it with a grain of salt. I understand you want to look at the stats, and the stats is what's keeping me out, or keeping Geno out the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
But I also know the potential of Geno behind a really good offensive line.
If Jalen has a big game in the Super Bowl, Eagles win, let's say he throws for like 3 touchdowns, rushes for another, just like a massive game. Does he become number 1? He's proven more than Jaden at that point. Let's say that the Eagles win a Super Bowl, this Super Bowl, and that it's not just one of those 127 passing yards from Jalen games. Let's say he throws for like 3 touchdowns, maybe rushes for 1. Like, it's just like a huge game for Jalen Hurts. Is he number 1?
Who has a better team
than Jalen in the NFC?
No, between Jalen and Jaden, right? Jalen has the better team.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation that gets so messy if we're not talking about the top 3 guys.
Yeah.
After that is, all right, we don't consider Jalen a top 3 guy, but that team is top 3, top 2.
Easy.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's all connected and affected, bars.
What I can at least appreciate about this conversation is that it's not one people are having in the AFC, which is who can get past Patrick Mahomes. The conversation in the AFC is going to be, yes, focused on the Chiefs, but also very particularly focused on Patrick Mahomes. Who can finally, like, he's number 1, who can get by him? There's not that blockade in the NFC. The NFC, just as it did last year, just as it did the year before, feels more winnable. It feels like you can have a team double a win total, break in, hit on a diamond in the rough, develop a quarterback, do something. There's not just someone like this giant standing in the way of everyone else.
No, it's open. We're looking at Jaden Daniels and asking ourselves, is there a giant in the making with him? He's got to run it back. We're looking at Jalen Hurts and we're asking ourselves, is he capable of being that giant? Doesn't have to be, because he has a squad full of talent. So, yeah, the NFC is wide open.
All right, coming up next, let's jump into college football, figure out who the Seahawks should have their eye on in the draft, talking Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl with NFL Network's Mike Yam.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
You want my positive spin for this year? Jorge Polanco's back at a reduced rate.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
You didn't have to pay him what it would have cost to pick up his option. You're saving about $5 million on that, which he could earn back, it looks like, in incentives, which is fine. If he has the kind of year that he was expected to have when he was brought in to be the number 3 hole hitter on this team, great. You'll happily pay him the other $5 million, right?
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Every window tells a story, whether it's watching your kids play outside or enjoying a beautiful sunset. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our replacement windows are designed to frame those moments. Brighten your home with our exclusive offer. Buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Call today to take advantage of this limited deal. 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Bring on the sunshine with a trip to see your Seattle Mariners. Come to sunny and warm Peoria, Arizona for another great year of spring training baseball. There's no better time to wind up at the Peoria Sports Complex, where you can see all your favorite Mariners up close. Spring training in Peoria has plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, and the best seats in baseball. It's family fun for all ages. Book your trip today. Support your Seattle Mariners in Arizona for another exciting spring training season. Get your tickets at peoriabaseball.com.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But if you can't afford treatment, can't work, or can't feed your family, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, and I am proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. Over the last 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed nearly $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can help us make a difference in our community. Join us on February the 1st for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, inspiration, and community support at the historic Hollywood Schoolhouse in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on February the 1st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. Don't miss out on this special deal. Regularly priced at $49.95, but for a limited time, only $39.95. Save $10 per silver bar. Limit of 25 bars per customer. The more you buy, the more you save. Up to $250 in savings and free shipping on every order. Plus, with qualifying orders, you receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value free. Call 1-800-937-4707 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Bars for only $39.95. That's 1-800-937-4707.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works, and you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Polanco and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185, 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are bringing back a familiar face. Seattle reunited with infielder Shohei Polanco on a one-year, $7.75 million contract for ESPN. Polanco answers a question for Seattle at third base. Also, though, coming off a career-low OPS of .651 last season with the Mariners, he was dealing with a knee injury. His best year was 2019, clearly the version the M's are counting on in 2025.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Bumper Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump, how many shots of espresso do you think I've had today?
I thought you asked me how many shots of Don Julio am I going to have on the course this weekend.
Both of these things.
You've had a quad.
4.
That's a quad.
You also? Are you going to do a quad?
I'm going to do a quad too. Let's get it.
We're calling an audible here. Mike Yam is going to join us to talk about the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl at 1 p.m. And we are going to talk about the Mariners here. We wanted to talk about this during today's show. We're just going to bump it up a little bit. I'm actually really excited for this conversation. I want to know what you guys think, and join this on the Mac and Jacks text line, what the Mariners front office is saying with what you've seen in free agency. What is this front office, what is this team telling you by their moves? 866-979-3776, Mac and Jacks text line, join that conversation. The reason I like it, Bump, is because we started the show by talking about Teoscar Hernandez on foul territory, speaking ambiguously about what teams that don't want to win look like.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt like he was talking about the Mariners, though he never explicitly stated that he was. And that conversation for you and I naturally got to a place of, even if he's not, you could look at the Mariners and think that as a player. Like, you could look at the Mariners and look at their actions, and then that might dictate whether or not you want to come here. So let's figure out what the Mariners front office is saying with this free agent period. Bump, what are they saying to you?
They're saying, run it back. Our philosophy, we believe it works. It's going to hit eventually. We're going to keep gambling on guys playing the way they did years back, and that our guys who didn't play to their potential finally hit their potential and maybe go past their potential. It says to me that we don't really care about being contenders on paper. We're going to be contenders through development that we haven't seen in the past few seasons.
Mm-hmm. It says to me, I'm just building on that very similarly, and I'm going to lean on some sound from Ryan Divish, who was on with us yesterday. To me, their offseason says, yes, that they're comfortable running it back, which is, what it felt like to you. To me, it's also that they're comfortable remaining in a rebuild, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the actions do not speak like a team that is all in on winning right now. Pedal to the metal. Finally, we're hitting the gas, and we're going into the next phase of this rebuild. It doesn't feel like a team in the next phase of the rebuild. And that's kind of what Ryan Divish was talking about. He also mentioned yesterday that there are teams that didn't need a full rebuild in order to compete.
You look at what the Rangers and Diamondbacks did a few years ago. I mean, that's a huge deal that they were able to kind of go from losing records to the World Series in the span of like a year. I mean, the Royals only won 56 games in 23, then won 88 games last year, made the postseason. So I think a lot of people believe with the extra wild card, they can stay in it longer, and that's a big deal for them. So that's why it's hurt the Mariners. There isn't a team like the Pirates that wants to dump somebody. Even teams like the Twins and Brewers are trying to cut payroll a little bit, are finding ways to do it without getting rid of talent where they can still compete.
Man, I mean, after listening to Ryan, maybe another thing it's telling me is they're misreading the market and misreading where other teams are in their development.
That's what it sounds like.
Right?
It sounds like there's a glitch in the system. And I think there's glitches in the system, I want to say. I had to, man, that conversation with Ryan yesterday was, it was a real conversation, but it was also one that we are too familiar with having. Like, this is going to be my third season with you when it comes to getting ready for the baseball season. And it's the same conversation.
Same conversation.
Nothing has changed. And it's almost feel bad asking Ryan to come on and having him just spew this stank that is what the offseason is for the Mariners. And at some point, you got to look across the league and see what everyone else is doing. What the contenders are doing that have kind of like the same means that you have. We're not looking at the mansion down the street, man. We're looking at the 2,500 square foot home that is similar to ours, and they've got updates, and they're doing things to that to the house over there. Like, what can we do to our 2,500 square foot home to upgrade? And it seems like we're just not doing enough. It's like there's a hole in the wall. I'm not gonna patch it up. I'm just gonna throw some plywood over it, and I'll get to it later. Looks tacky, Stacy. It looks tacky.
So tacky. I'm going to read you a couple listener responses. From the 360, it says to me that they're hoping, and I'll add, though the texter didn't say it, probably thinking, that the team they have in place is going to be good enough.
Every year they think that.
Yeah.
Every year.
So, to me, I go, do you really believe that? Like, I would, the $1 million question I would like answered is, and we will never have answered, is whether Jerry DiPoto fundamentally believes that the team he and Justin in this front office have constructed is a World Series team, or like you know what, if he looks at last year and goes, we just ran into bad luck.
Yeah.
You know, the players that I counted on to perform didn't, you know, maybe Scott couldn't get the most out of them, maybe the coaching staff, whatever it is. Like, this isn't a me thing. This isn't how we constructed it. Or whether he knows that it's not enough and is just kind of hamstrung with what he can do. Because he's made some bad moves too. This isn't like a Jerry DiPoto's innocent situation.
Right.
He's made some bad decisions. But I would love to know, because to me, if it's Jerry DiPoto fundamentally looking at this roster, which I can't believe.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he does.
No.
If it's him fundamentally looking at the roster and going, I see a World Series team, then that's a bigger problem. I don't think that's what it is. I really don't. Jerry DiPoto knows way more about baseball than I do.
It forces lies to be told to the public, because no team, I don't even think the A's said it out loud, but we saw what they were doing. But at no point did they come out and say, yeah, we don't care. We're tanking this whole thing.
Well, and their offseason now says, see, we told you we'd give back if you let us relocate.
Yeah, right?
Fine, we'll spend.
They're not just going to come out and say it. I remember when I was a head coach, I would lie to my team. I would lie to them.
We got to
guys, we're ready. We're ready, guys. Man, if we just play our game and do this and do that, we are ready. In my head, I'm thinking we have to be amazing tonight. They're going to have to fumble the ball 4 times. They're going to have to toss a couple of interceptions. There is always a way. That's the thing. But you lie to the public and to your team about the probabilities of you winning that game. So that's what it feels like in this situation, is that the lack of spending, the lack of going out there and getting the right guys forces everyone in that building to lie to the public and make it seem like everything's going to be okay, in hopes that something might happen and you do catch fire, you get hot and you go on a run and everything is okay. Then it's a I told you so. But there's no way deep down in your soul you're looking at all these teams in your division, in your league, and you're saying, yeah, we can. Like, if it came down to us and the Yankees, we got them. If it came down to us and Houston, we got them.
Not a question.
If it came, no, there's no way. There's no way. They're saying if it comes down to us and them, and this happens and that happens and that happens, then yeah, we have a shot. So it is a game that is played every single year, and I'm sure it's played in other markets as well.
Yeah. From the 206, it says to me, this is my flag, it is white. Let's see. It says to me that they're trying to get by with mid to low level guys until the Star Farm System guys are ready.
Yeah, will your arms be here by that time? That's the crucial part. It's crucial. That's like wasting Pat Mahomes' prime years. Even though football you can play a bit longer. Let's say Pat Mahomes has 3-4 more years left, like Aaron Rodgers did a couple of years ago. All right, 3-4 more years left, and you're saying just hold on tight, Aaron. Just hold on, man. We got these guys coming up that are going to take care of you. We don't know what's going to happen. The players that get injured the most consistently in baseball are the pitchers. They put the most stress on their arms, on their bodies, out of anybody. And to bank on these young men staying completely healthy and holding on for a few more years would be crazy. I hope that's not what they're thinking, but understand the texter when he says that's what it feels like.
I mean, it definitely feels like they're looking at a Cole Young as certainly not being a regular starter, saving the season. I doubt he breaks camp with the team, but looking at one of those guys as being like, can we get help sooner rather than later? I think to build on this listener's point, what it says to me is, look, it's draft and develop, and right now that's it. Like now, we draft, develop, and trade, and we can't get any trades going, so we got to draft and develop, and we are just hoping the players we've already drafted and developed have MVP seasons, and that the players we drafted and developed that haven't gotten here yet can get here sooner than expected.
Here's a scenario for you. Let me see what you think. Do you think that the Robbie Ray situation just scared the heck out of him? They're like, we will never do that again. We told you guys. We'll never do it again.
Yes and no. Like, I think that season ended up being so solid. Obviously, it ended with kind of like how people remember Robbie Ray now. I do think that in the in the aggregate. Like that and a number of like a tiny handful of big deals that they've made has made this team hesitant to spend.
Yeah.
Like I think that this team, and the thing is like, I could name any big spender, Curtis. Quick thought experiment right now. Curtis, if I throw a team at you, tell me one of the worst contracts they've signed or one of the worst moves they've made.
All right.
Mets.
The Mets, God, what was it? I mean, they had Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That blew up in their face.
Yankees.
Yankees, they signed Jacoby Ellsbury to a really big deal. It was terrible. It was like 7 years. He didn't do anything for him.
Bump, you might have one for these. Last one, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
It's been a while since the Dodgers had really bad. Trevor Bauer.
Trevor
Bauer.
We don't make bad deals, Stacy. We're going to get the best.
My point is that even great front offices or even teams that are unafraid to spend are going to have some really bad deals. And so if you're a team that spends on those deals at a fraction of the time of the other teams, and then you have one that, blows up in your face or one that doesn't work out, you're never going to make another one.
It's a personality trait. It's ownership's personality. It's like, we give you this one time. This one time. You seen Rookie of the Year? You haven't seen that movie.
I don't know why you ask anymore.
Because maybe you just might have seen a movie with Rookie of the Year, Curtis.
Yes.
Remember when the Rocket is thrown out his arm?
Chet Steadman, yeah.
Right? And then the skip is in there. It's like, I'm going to pull you. He's like, one more. One more. That's what this
I wish I could laugh.
I was like, listen, man, we already gave you. And DePoto's begging, just one more. Give it to me, one more. And then ownership's like, nah, dog. Didn't. Yeah, I went to the playoffs, but nothing happened that year. So you're done now.
Let's see. Let me get to a couple more in the last couple minutes here. 253. It says to me that they're fine with hope as a strategy, and they've doubled down on the approach yet again.
If hope's the case, man, bring back Obama and let's start that campaign all over again. It was all about hope, right?
If it's all about hope.
Hey, just hire Obama and get that hope thing
he
going.
comes in. I will help this team
It's
to
about
a
hope.
World Series.
It's about hope.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I make him sound like Sean Connery. It's about hope. That's my Obama? What? It's so bad. Let's see. Most popular answer was they don't care about winning, which I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm hesitant to stretch that because I think that, say what you will about me. You can call me biased or whatever, but this is what I think. I think John Stanton's a huge baseball fan. And I would imagine, I don't know anyone else in this ownership group, but I would imagine they're huge baseball fans. I think Jerry and Justin are huge baseball fans, or this wouldn't be their job because it's insanely stressful. I think in an ideal world, they would love for this team to win. And I think if you look at it only from a financial point of view, the ownership group would love for this team to win because it means more tickets. It means more postseason sales. It means they can sell more parking spots. Like, it is in their best financial interest for this team to win. Even if they hated baseball and only cared about making money, they would still want the team to win because it is a moneymaker. Like, successful teams make money. I think that the question of, well, what are they willing to do to get it? How much do they want to win? Are they willing to be uncomfortable? Those are different conversations.
No, they don't want their pockets to hurt. These billionaires don't want their pockets to hurt. That's what it comes down to. It's
that's
business.
Like a league-wide.
It's business, man, and that's why I'm gonna hold ownership accountable. But I understand business. Like, you want to be in the green. You want to make sure all the bills are paid. You want to make sure that everyone in ownership is collecting a nice little check, and everyone's going on their vacations and their yachts and all that good stuff. Like, okay, I understand that, but what do you owe the people of Seattle?
Mm-hmm.
They are called the Seattle Mariners, not the Stanton Mariners, not the whoever's in the ownership group. Sorry for just pointing out Stanton. That's the only one I know. But yeah, at some point it has to be about the people and not about your pockets. Like, let's be in the red for 1 year. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Let's be in the red for a year, and you know what it is? You might get that feeling and taste that success and be like, oh, I like this feeling.
Yes.
Let's keep this thing rolling.
I see it as less like evil empire and more of in the market where those mid-level markets, like just above mid-level, where they could be a top 10 spender, but it's more of a risk than a team like the Dodgers, so it feels scarier to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of see the argument, and if I'm extending this to our exercise today, Maybe it says to me that the regional sports network issues were more impactful than they let on, or more impactful than we realize, right? Like maybe what it says to me is they're nervous about CBA stuff in 2026. Like there's all kinds of directions you could take this.
Yeah.
Maybe what it says to me is they really want to extend Logan and Kirby and Cal, and they're nervous about how much to spend this offseason. Like it could say a number of things, but to me, it's more about risk aversion than it is about like anything bigger than that. But that's so disappointing because as a fan, you go, one thing we fundamentally have all come to understand about this team through a 2-decade-long drought of watching them miss the playoffs and then making it once is that you don't win without risk.
Nope.
So if you're risk averse, what do you think happens?
Roll the dice. That's why I never win big bucks in Vegas. I go up $100. I'm like, yes, sir. We're doing minimum bets now.
Did it. I made it out. It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The story behind the headlines in today's news with Bob and Stacy.
So many people had good texts, by the way. I appreciate everyone for texting in. I wish I would have read more of them. They were coming in so quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have long pauses.
People were fired up.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, though.
Headline number one, the Mariners have signed infielder Jorge Polanco to a 1-year deal with a base salary of $7.75 million. What's the real headline?
From see us rise to see us run it back.
Run it back. That's like when you're at the court at the local gym and you get whooped. Hey, run that back.
Same five.
Run that back.
Same five.
Yep. Run that back. That's what
Same
they're
five.
doing. No, hey, our chemistry's going to be better. Our chemistry's going to be better this time around. Run it.
I wanted to get
man.
you guys those. Is it and one?
Oh, yeah,
Those
the N1
t-shirts that I sent you
t-shirts.
guys. I was like, I got to get them. Your birthdays are not especially close, but I got to get you guys like matching ones or some ridiculous and one shirt.
I also had a moment in the 90s and 2000s where they're them and Big Dog shirts,
Man.
where you were saying you were wearing what you were feeling.
Yeah, and one was on point, man. Now it's at Walmart. No disrespect to Walmart, but there's a point where and one was like
Vince Carter in the dunk
saying it's a
contest.
decline.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, don't trip. You find gyms at Walmart, okay?
Sure.
But
this used to be
to see
prestige.
N1, I walked by and I grabbed the shorts and they're still 2000s baggy.
Still huge.
I'm
yeah.
like, man, these were the days. These were the days.
I'm still holding on to a pair of like baggy Nike
Just in
basketball
case?
shorts from like 2008.
so comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids get on my head all the time. Throw those away, Dad. I go, listen, man.
They're
Y'all don't
so comfortable.
Y'all don't want to see these thighs, okay?
God. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, in court documents filed yesterday, federal prosecutors say there's no evidence Shohei Otani's former interpreter,
Oh.
Ipe Mizuhara, suffered from a gambling addiction. What's the real headline?
That $16 million he stole from Otani was just a one-time thing.
Listen, won't happen again.
No, this is just, oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. I fell on your debit card.
Now they're looking at patterns, right? And I'm sure there are thousands of cases to where they're matching this up with other cases and saying this doesn't look like a guy who has an addiction. And maybe he doesn't have an addiction, and maybe he was just taking advantage of a very fortunate situation he was in. Lo and behold, he was wrong. He was just wrong for that. I still question how much Otani knew. And but the more evidence we get, the more it sounds like Otani might not have known what we thought. Because at the beginning, we're thinking, that's your best friend. Like, if my best friend was stealing from me, granted, I don't have the bank that Otani has. But if he was up to some weird stuff, I could sniff it out so quickly.
Can
You
I?
got a shower bench.
Yeah. Can I tell you a legal theory that I have that I'm just working on right now based on nothing because I didn't go to law school?
But you have watched Law and Order.
I've watched Law and Order.
Yeah.
This is my new legal theory. Watching legal TikToks. No, I'm just thinking of it, and I have no idea this is what it is. But basically, prosecutors are arguing we found no evidence of Ipe Mizuhara placing all these bets at casinos. Like, we looked back over the last several years at like 30 different casinos, and we found like one bet. We found evidence of him placing extravagant bets over DraftKings or I forget the other one, but basically looking at like legal venues of sports betting. Now, what Ipe was seemingly doing was placing bets through an illegal bookie in an illegal sports betting thing in California, right? Which would presumably all be off the record. So I wonder if what they're doing is saying, Ipe, if you want to prove that you have gambling addiction, we're going to need more evidence of all of these bets happening. Well, all those bets, I'm sure, are things that other people don't want uncovered. You know what I mean? It's just more bets placed illegally.
Keep snitching, dog.
That's my theory.
I like that theory.
Thank you.
Headline rewrites.
Someone listening is a lawyer and they're like, you idiot.
What are you talking
Please
about?
stop.
This is not Legally Blonde. My daughter watched that last night for the first time.
So good. Did she like
loved
it?
She loved it.
I love that movie.
Headline 3, the Pro Bowl games are this weekend. What's the real headline? I got nothing.
No, Drake May is about to be surrounded by more talent than he's seen all year.
Quarterbacks are weird, man. Quarterbacks are weird. I watched a 5'10" guy yoked up Russell Wilson fire darts out there.
He sure did.
He was, I'm like, Russell, you might throw your arm out. I know you wanted a deal, but relax out there. And then I watched a dad bod playoff winning quarterback. Well, he lost his first game in the bye.
Yeah.
Jared Goff go out there and execute as well. Quarterback is such a weird position. There's so much that goes into it, other than athleticism. And I think that's why we see pitchers who look a certain way sometimes, because it's just armed. You got the arm. You know how to get the most energy out of your body pushing from the ground. It is a weird thing, man, to watch Jared Goff walk around with all those other guys. Even like Sam Darnold looks like he's in great shape. Drake May look good out there. And then there's Jared Goff. And he might have a great personality probably, and he might have the prettiest wife out of all them boys out there too. And and he's just a regular looking guy with a cannon on his arm. It's crazy.
Very related note. Can I add a note to the discourse around quarterback resurgences or like second, third chances? Is that some of the more recent stories we've talked about with Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, maybe even Baker Mayfield, kind of like, hey, we need to give these guys love for kind of tapping into it again and finding it again. These guys were still top picks.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was 3 overall. Jared Goff was 1, right?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield also first overall. Like, I think that the angle that people sometimes forget when they talk about second chances or third chances for some of these quarterbacks is a lot of these guys have an underlying level of talent that is elite.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold has elite talent. Jared Goff has elite talent. It took them a minute to tap into it.
You see all them dudes throw the football? Like Sam Darnold made it look easy. It's like popping off of his
arm
hand.
strength.
Baker Mayfield was zipping them things in too. That's when you put them all up in a line and just t-shirts and football, they can all toss the rock.
I just hesitate to group someone like a Sam Darnold story or Jared Goff, going to the Lions and finding more success with so you never know what you could find with this random 5th round pick or 6th round pick. And it's like, yeah, maybe. But a team spent a huge chunk of draft capital on each of these guys, and it didn't work out with their first stint for mostly their faults. But that talent is there and it's different.
Yeah, it is. But you put the 32 starters in the NFL and watch all of them throw a football, you're going to be impressed.
Yeah, very true. Travis Kelce has a response to people who see the Chiefs as villains. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Free agent infielder Jorge Polanco in agreement with the Mariners. Mariners' plan is to play Polanco at third base.
He's better than what they had there, which was nothing. So I'm trying to figure out an explanation. That's a guy they know that they can get in there, that at this time they can get it for a reasonable price. We know how reluctant they are to trade these prospects, or there's not a market for it. So right now, this is their plan. This is not saying that the offseason's done.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires PayPal and auto-pay stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here. Let's talk stats. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the state of Washington ranks number 4 in the whole U.S. for the highest concentration of roofers. That's literally thousands of roofers to choose from. So how do you know how to pick the right one for your home? Well, you start by eliminating those who aren't GAF Master Elite certified. That's about 97% of all roofers. So now you're down to the elite 3%. How many have over 35 years of experience? How many utilize the catch-all system to keep yards and driveways clear of any debris? Family-owned with local roots and have the stamp of approval from the Mike Salk household? Well, that leaves you with just one, the roofing company you can trust. That's Riverside Roofing. In a sea of thousands of competitors, Riverside Roofing continues to stand out. And guess what? They have openings this winter for your roof project. So have them out to your house this week. Call them at 425-949-8252 or go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box, or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Hot Stove Show. Stay up to date on the Mariners offseason with Aaron Goldsmith, Gary Hill, and Shannon Dreyer.
Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. leading up to spring training.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First in Maine, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations, too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, and we are going to start at Media Row at the Super Bowl, ahead of Super Bowl 59. Travis Kelce says that he's fully embracing the villain role now.
Do you guys enjoy being the villains of the NFL?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. At one point in time, it wasn't that. And,
you were the center. You guys were the darling of the NFL.
Yeah, I was the do you feel bad for him guys, and
you're now the heel.
I'm enjoying doing this with the guys together, the guys that we have in there, because it's like it just makes us even more of a family. You just circle the wagons when people are saying whatever they want, and you just band it together, and it just makes you more appreciate more of what you have, because people want what you have.
Clearly, since you can hear his brother Jason from the New Heights podcast, I think it's a little different. Tell me if I'm wrong, Bump. Travis Kelce's older as a player, so he's he was there when the Chiefs were obviously winning, but not when they were the dynasty that they are. And I think that is different. Like, it makes a difference to be the guy who's been on teams where you're just not getting Super Bowls, not getting college championships, whatever it is. Like, it is different when you aren't kind of like silver spooned in as a player.
Yeah, it is different. He's been grinding. It's been like a transformation. It's like watching a caterpillar become a butterfly. Beautiful. Except not a butterfly. It's like a bat or something. Some people are scared of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been
some people are scared of butterflies.
Please text in if you are scared of butterflies.
I don't like when they land on me.
But you're not scared of a butterfly.
Well, no, but it could. I mean, the quick movements typically do scare me.
But you don't see a butterfly and start screaming.
No.
All right, you're not scared of a butterfly.
A bat, though?
A bat.
I'd lose my mind.
And bats, they don't hurt you either. Like people.
That's false. That's false. That's false. That's caused rabies. Probably other diseases.
Oh, look at all that propaganda. You just bought into it.
That's caused rabies.
Oh, man.
Ebola
bats are soft,
from
man.
Bats. Probably.
All right, back to my point.
It's out there using echolocation.
Flying in the night through caves. Anyway, it's been a transformation, and you have to lean into whatever it is. If you are winning and you're considered the darling, okay, smile, say cheese, and lean into it. If you are winning and you are considered the villain, go ahead, smile, say cheese, and lean into it. Either way, we are watching, and when it's all said and done, we're going to look at the history books and say, man, what about those Kansas City Chiefs? Big ups, Taylor Jacobs.
Back to bats. Wouldn't it be crazy? You know how caterpillars do, like, put themselves in a cocoon and become a butterfly? You guys, what if mice could do that and become bats? Why hasn't anyone thought of this?
They look like they're related, honestly.
They do. I mean, bats, if you take away the fact that they're a bat and just zoom in on their face, they're kind of cute.
Are they?
I'll show you pictures.
Okay.
Next story, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says he expects Matthew Stafford will play in 2025, but also expects the Rams to rework his deal.
Last heard from Stafford, he was in his postseason press conference talking about how he wanted to take time and ponder his future. Sean McVay saying he would like an answer sooner rather than later. My understanding is Matthew Stafford does, in fact, plan to play next season. This is essentially what he sort of communicated to the Rams. Wanted to take some time off and basically told them, I feel good. I don't see why I wouldn't play. My understanding, again, plans to play. Now, that is not exactly the whole story for the Rams, because he's due $27 million next year, not guaranteed on his contract. I have a hard time imagining Matthew Stafford plays for that. But last year before training camp, also right at the buzzer, they got a deal done. I believe it ended up being a one-year, $40 million deal. I would imagine they would have to look at his contract again.
Rams are in a similar situation. You heard Ian Rappaport mention the numbers, but that $49 million cap hit, it's kind of the same thing the Seahawks, a lesser cap hit, but they have to figure that out with Geno, with Tyler, with DK. If you were the Rams, would you figure out some kind of new deal to keep Stafford there, running back in 25?
Jimmy Garoppolo, Stetson Bennett. Would you figure it out? Heck yeah, you got to figure this out, man. Matthew Stafford still got some good football left in him. He's 36 years of age. I say he got at least 2 or 3 more in him. Yeah, when he's healthy, he's good. So you got to make this happen if you want to keep this run going, because I don't think you just plug in another quarterback that's not Sam Darnold, I think, and this offense is good to go. Matthew Stafford knows it. He's comfortable with McVay. You have to figure this out.
Let's go down to Carolina. Panthers head coach Dave Canales spoke very highly of Bryce Young's progress made during his second season.
Got to just give all the credit to Bryce. You know, handling the way that he did with maturity, attacking it, and really positioning himself for that next opportunity, not knowing when that opportunity was going to come, stepping back in, doing the work, you know, taking the challenge and really finding the joy of playing again. And I could sense that. We went out to Denver and we didn't get the result we wanted. We didn't win that game, but he threw some balls with confidence. He was having fun, connecting with his teammates, working the sideline, all that. And it was just like, I could see this shift in him. And then he just took steps every week and just diving into the installs, diving into the game plan, improving from the previous game and applying those things. And so it was really cool to be a part of.
Did you see that shift for Young?
Most definitely. He looked way more comfortable. Moving in the pocket, eyes are down the field, confident throws. His body language was on point. But most importantly, people are educating me about bats, and apparently they carry a whole lot of diseases.
Did you not know this?
I didn't know that.
Bro, bats are like really just a nuisance. I mean, they're very cute, but I think like, I don't know Ebola for sure. I feel like I did some like 10th grade project on Ebola, and I don't remember anything about it. Except for something.
It was a big
about
deal
bats.
at a time, though.
Let me tell you what. There was a movie about it, and then for sure rabies. Yeah, bats are not your friend.
You know what I like about the texters? Like they'll text in some stuff and be like, "I work in the medical field." I'm just supposed to believe that? I don't know you.
Oh, that's very Reddit AMA of being like, "Trust me, I'm a doctor."
Yeah, I'm like, really?
But what if they do?
I mean, maybe they do, but
Oh,
I mean,
yeah?
you can be anybody on this text line.
They said they work in the medical field.
They go, bats do cause rabies. No human has ever survived rabies. Is that true? If you're exposed to bats, they often give you the series of shots to be safe. I work in the medical field.
So, first of all, I need another medical fact if you're going to prove you work in the medical field. But secondly, I don't know that no one's ever survived rabies. I do know that rabies...
Didn't
once
dogs
there are
have rabies?
Well, but once there are symptoms of rabies, there's like a 99%. Like rabies is one of the most fatal diseases once symptoms start.
Really?
So that's why everything is incredibly precautionary.
Okay.
Where it's like, give this series of shots. Yeah. What are we talking about? Back to the NFL. The Bucs are being petty with former OC Liam Cohen, who's now head coach with the Jags. They've denied Jacksonville's request to interview Tampa Bay OL coach Kevin Carberry. Liam's trying to get an OL coach over there. They said, not today, Liam. You left us.
Because you know what? You went to Jacksonville. You say, you know what? This ain't for me. You go back to Tampa Bay. They make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in the game. And then the next day you're like, actually, I'm going to go back over there.
Yeah.
Of course, there has to be like some type of consequence for that. They're not going to allow you just to take the whole squad. And the Bucs have something good going over there in a division that is winnable for them. Like, we understand that Michael Penix is going to get a shot next year. We understand, we heard Canales talk about Bryce. But the Bucs can run that division, so they don't want to deplete their coaching staff. The way that he did it, I think he did what was best for him. You want to be a head coach, you go and take that opportunity. But you can't just go back and forth and expect them to be like, yeah, go ahead and take your O-line guy with you.
Yeah. Someone said Old Yeller didn't survive rabies. First of all, spoiler alert.
Well,
secondly,
they offed him.
That's the thing. He didn't survive humans. You know what I mean? Did he have rabies and it was very obvious? Sure. But maybe you just let him, you let them live in the shed like when people become zombies. I'm just saying.
It might have been a mercy kill.
Let's see. Someone said one human ever. I have a lot of research to do during the break.
We got work to do.
I got a lot of work to do. Okay, we are going to bring on Mike Yam coming up in about 20 minutes. Talk to him about the Senior Bowl. I know a lot of you guys have questions about some players that Seattle can keep its eye on, particularly with the offensive line. And I know everyone, even though they're not going to be in Seattle, is interested in some of these quarterbacks. First, though, the NFL has done its best to keep Pro Bowl weekend interesting. Is there something the NBA could do to try and keep up?
Fourth down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. Like, we are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and fourth downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these fourth down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
Fourth down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But if you can't afford treatment, can't work, or can't feed your family, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, and I am proud to be part of Northwest Hope and Healing's mission. We provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. Over the last 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed nearly $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients. And you can help us make a difference in our community. Join us on February the 1st for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, inspiration, and community support at the historic Hollywood Schoolhouse in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on February the 1st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Discover LeBay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk. And over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. Every day, ZipRecruiter helps people who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. With thousands of full replacements with expert craftsmanship and unbeatable warranties, we've been building roofs you can trust for over 5 decades. It's more than just a job, it's our promise to you. Protect your investment with a free Golden Pledge warranty on all GAF roof replacements over $15,000. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Planning to propose this Valentine's Day? Shane Company has your back. Our easy process to create your dream engagement ring is rock solid. 1, pick your ring setting. 2, choose your center stone. 3, personalize it. With our wide selection of beautiful settings and hand-picked diamonds and gemstones, all at competitive prices, your ring will be as unique as your love story. We'll hand-set your ring in our jeweler workshop right here in our store and protect it with our free lifetime warranty. Walk in with a dream, walk out with the ring that will take their breath away. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, coming up in 15 minutes, talking Senior Bowl with Mike Yam of NFL Network. Right now, though, Bump, you were thinking about something the other night. The NFL has done its best to keep the Pro Bowl weekend interesting, including introducing trivia to a passing skills challenge, which I really liked. Is there something the NBA could do to try to keep up, is what you were wondering. Let's start with how you got there. What are you disappointed about when it comes to what the NBA is doing?
Well, the thought came from watching the NFL transform skills weekend. I do wish that they brought back the bench press, though. The 225 pounds, I get after it. Dudes like to see iron being thrown around. I would love for that to come back, but I understand why, because it just puts stress on the body and they don't want to do that to those guys. But and it's the off season for them. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
But
you can get over that torn triceps.
Yeah, right. It only takes how long?
A year?
Just make it to the Super Bowl, you'll be fine.
Brandon Graham, he's about to go in the Super Bowl after tearing his.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
But I'm watching, and they've just transformed it, right? Every year, something's changed when it comes to the quarterback competition, throwing the football, and they added trivia this year. They got the relay race this year. A couple years ago, it was running through a wall at the end of this whole thing. It's just they've done enough to keep us entertained and still show some athleticism, And I think the NBA is struggling right now. I think we talked about it yesterday. The slam dunk contest used to be the highlight of the night. Couldn't wait to see the slam dunk competition. Now I could care less about, or I couldn't care less. Yes, I couldn't care less about the slam dunk competition. I like the point guard competition where they're dribbling and passing the ball, all that good stuff. I like the 3-point competition. But there has to be something else. You have to tap into the imagination of the people. And one thing that I thought about was a 3-point contest. Have your point guard toss you the ball. Like, say you got to come off a screen, bam, point guard gets it to you, boom, you got to make a shot there.
Add some action.
Like, just show the game, right? Because even when the Pro Bowl skills games, they're making fun, they're having big old cartoon hands catch the football. So what? It's still hard to catch that ball. It shows skill right there. What can the NBA do to switch some things up? I would do like a one-on-one challenge. Have 2 guards go at it, first to 3 or something like that. I have these guys competing things that shows their athleticism. The jacked up part about it is that they don't want to be there in the NBA. They don't want to be there because they're mid-season. The Pro Bowl is at the end of the season. The Pro Bowl games are at the end of the season. Guys, I've already been on vacation for a while. They're coming in. Their mental is different. In the NBA, it's in the middle of the season, and they're like, man, I just want a break. I don't even know if I want to do this or be here right now. I think that is what's hurting the NBA when it comes to their All-Star game. So why not play it at the end of the year when both teams are in the NBA Finals, and you bring the guys together for 3 or 4 days before the final starts and just go after it.
I'm very here for that, and that would be my primary choice of add incentive to play and take away incentive to sit, right? That's what moving it to the end of the season would do. They're probably not going to do that. So I do have a question for you. How much of people not participating, of the slam dunk contest just being something people care way less about because stars don't participate, how much of that is, well, it's in the middle of the season, and how much of it is sometimes the NBA is just overly cautious. Teams are overly cautious. Players are overly cautious. Maybe they're checking out of, we just talked about load management. These are slightly related, but we just talked about load management, specifically with Zion Williamson, but in general, with the timeline, how much of it is just kind of in the NBA, you kind of get away with sometimes doing as little as you need.
Yeah, because they play 82 games.
Yeah.
But in MLB, they play, 162, and guys still show up for the home run contest. And that is still one of the most electrifying experiences. When the All-Star game was here and I went to the home run contest, that was the hypest I've ever been at a baseball game in my life. And I was there. Actually, the Cal Raleigh home run was something else. I was there for that, and that was nuts, right?
But second would be the Derby.
Second would be the home run derby. I'm like, there are only 2 events that I can remember in the past 10 years where I became like a fan, like for real. And one was Cal. I'm hugging people I don't know. I'm lifting guys up. We're going crazy, right? Yeah. And the other one was the home run contest, and that was crazy. The NBA has to do something. If you can get former athletes to tap in and being a fan, and the last time I was a real fan for the slam dunk contest, it was Vince Carter, right? That was ridiculous. So I also understand that they're running out of things to do when it comes to the slam dunk contest. But if you just have marquee names out there, they could do the same dunk. So what? You're just seeing LeBron do something crazy. Too late now. He's 40. Anybody expect him to do that? But
Anthony Edwards, like, bring in someone. I mean, look, as someone who, I don't know, as someone who didn't watch every single Orioles game, but who did know of Adley Rutschman and obviously know he was a switch hitter, doing that was very, very cool. Home run derby, right? Like, so you get a chance to see something where you go, whoa, like my mind is blown, to your point. And that can bring new eyes. It can bring in new fans. It can just be something we all love about sport, which is like, imagine if, like, the thing to me that's very cool about the concept of the slam dunk contest is, imagine you went to your local gym and just randomly an NBA star came in, how amazingly athletic and talented and like godlike this talent would seem in just a regular situation. Yeah. Like, if you just got to watch someone dunk, there's no game, no one's guarding. Like, you just see skill.
You should put together an all-star, you know what? You should put together the top college prospects versus the top NBA guys and have them go at it, because those college dudes ain't going to go soft. They are going to go. They're going to get at these dudes. I also like the suggestion by 360, have a game of pig. I like that. Everybody plays pig, right? You played pig before? You know how that works?
Is it not? Is it? No.
It's like horse.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
a short.
Okay.
It's just pig. It's when you have 3 kids, you don't have time to play horse because it takes too long.
Oh, okay.
I play pig with my kids. Like, we playing pig. We ain't playing horse. But something has to be done, because I think that the NFL Pro Bowl games, it's corny, but it works. It works. I sit there and I watched it before I had to take my kid to practice. But the NBA, they're losing us, and I think Stephen A. Said it the best the other day. He was like, "Look, those guys don't want to be there, so just have it. It's a waste.
Yeah.
The only 3-point contest is the biggest thing going right now."
Which is such a shame. Like, when you hear it said that way, they don't want to be there.
They don't.
So they don't have it. Like, I wish that they wanted to, but how do you incentivize them to do it?
It used to be like pride.
What if it takes one guy to do it? Like, what if one superstar does it? Does that then pressure all these guys? I mean, a lot of these guys are friends. Maybe you challenge someone else.
It's LeBron's fault.
Is it?
He sets the tone.
Your hate is extending.
No, I don't hate LeBron, but it's his fault. He sets the tone.
Yeah, if he's gung ho about something,
but he's not going to do it now. You need someone else to do it. Bron's not going to do it. You need.
What was that All-Star game in Orlando when they were wearing the West was wearing blue and the East was wearing white, and Jordan and Magic were going at it? It's just, these dudes were competitors. They wanted to win at everything, and this generation of basketball players just don't want to win at everything. It blows my mind.
It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Talking Senior Bowl with Mike Yam next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Gary Kubiak, father of Clint, kind enough to take a few minutes with us. Of course, longtime NFL head coach.
He went through a lot in New Orleans last year, which is going to make him a better coach. They lost a ton of players. They had to figure out from Wednesday to Sunday how they're going to try to figure out how to move the ball, and that makes you better in the long haul. But it's my understanding, and I know Mike very well. I think he wants to run the football, and I think in the NFL, if you play good defense and run the ball, you got a chance every week.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We've all been sleepless nights wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Oh, man, the freezing cold, it's here. All you want to do is get inside out of it, right? But you're not the only one. You know who else wants to be inside warm? Rats, mice, Rodents. Yeah, Mike Salk here, and as temperatures drop, rats, mice, other rodents, they're looking for a cozy spot. They want to make a home, maybe reproduce. But the result for your house could be a smelly mess and, even worse, destroyed insulation. Your crawl space and attic can be out of sight and out of mind, but real issues can arise without you knowing about it until far too late. Yeah, we had some rodents in the house. Crawl Pros came out, and they took care of the problem, dealt with the insulation, dealt with the rodents. Mice and rats only need a very small hole in the siding or foundation walls to make a huge mess, so call Crawl Pros. They will come out and go where you don't want to. Call them to see what's going on behind those crawl space and attic hatches for free. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, while their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires pre-postponed and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Hey, let's throw a party this year for the big game.
Oh, great idea. But first, we should get a new TV. One of the top-rated brands. Samsung, LG, or Sony.
Okay, I'll start shopping on the internet and then head over to the Warehouse Club.
Well, but if that's all we do, we'll be sorry.
Why?
Because the best deals on those top-rated TVs are at video only, not online or at the club.
Video only?
Yep. We can save up to $500 if we shop smart.
Or we'll be sorry.
Hey, sell your car to Wayscar Ford, and when they resell it, they share half their profit with you. That's right. Sell your car to Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They'll pay you today for your car, and once they resell it, they'll share half their profit with you. Go to wayscarford.com for complete details.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at a regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are bringing back a familiar face. Seattle reunited with infielder Shohei Polanco on a one-year, $7.7 million contract for ESPN. Polanco answers a question for Seattle at third base. He's also coming off a career-low OPS of .651 last season. With the Mariners, he was dealing with a knee injury for most of that year. His best season was in 2019. That's clearly the version the Mariners are counting on in 2025.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. We're talking Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl with NFL Network's Mike Yam. He joins us now in the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Mike, how's it going?
Doing great. Now, I just want to be abundantly clear. I made sure to love up Bumpus during the broadcast last night. So if you didn't hear it, Bump, I'm going to be really upset with you.
Nah, here's what happened, Yam. I was taking my daughter to practice, and I'm watching it on my TV, but then my boys started sending me clips that they took on their phone. So I appreciate you, big dog, man. I appreciate you, Yam.
How long have you guys known each other?
You knew it was coming.
Like a year.
Oh,
2
okay.
years.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We've had you, Mike. We've had you on a couple times. In my mind, you guys had been friends or like colleagues for a couple years.
It feels like we've known each other our whole lives.
You know what I mean? Cradle to grave, these two.
100%. That's what it is. You know, when you're vibing with someone, and it feels like that. It might as well be 10 years.
There you go.
It's a beautiful thing, Mike. I'll start with the Senior Bowl. Very, very easy question, just to kind of steer us toward some good conversations here. And I'll just start with who stands out most to you. Feel free to add a couple players if you want.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, obviously, last couple of weeks here, or last week and a half, I was in, and I know you're asking about the Senior Bowl, and I'll get there. I was in, where was I? I paused for a second. I don't even know what time zone I'm in. I just got back in Los Angeles, but I was in Arlington for the East-West Shrine Bowl. So you see all the talent there. And then there's all these conversations about what's happening in Mobile. And I understand why. I mean, we are talking about some of the most talented players in the country that, candidly, you just sort of expect to really flash in a meaningful way. And I just think there's so much pressure across the board for a lot of these guys to really thrive. And I think one of the beauties, at least in the game that I was at, where you see these players who, candidly, sometimes are coming from FCS programs. And you'll get some of that at the Senior Bowl as well. But there really is this concerted effort to kind of show off in front of a lot of these scouts. And, when I, at least at this point, look at sort of the rosters and what you're going to get in the Senior Bowl, there's clearly some of the cream of the crop. You're talking about some of the guys that, potentially have an opportunity to even get, into the top 10 or so. To me, one of the major storylines, just quarterbacks in general, last year, a historic run in that first round, in those 12 picks. This year, you look at the top 10 and what you can eyeball it. What are there, 6, 7 teams that need a quarterback? There aren't 6 or 7 first-round arms, at least in my mind, that you're going to see in this year's draft. So who are some of those guys that really can thrust themselves into the first round, maybe into the top 15 or so? Jackson Dart and Bump, you and I actually watched a couple of his games together on Saturdays. Jackson Dart, I think, is one of those guys that I think has got an opportunity to really, kind of boost his stock. I've heard some good things over the course of the week down in Mobile regarding him. Tyler Shucks, if we're going to talk about the Pacific Northwest, you guys are in Seattle, not far away. We saw Tyler have some success for a very short period of time at Oregon. He's kind of bounced around a little bit, hoping to really, make a name for himself. But those two guys in particular, at least at the quarterback spot, are two guys that I actually cannot wait to go and see.
As practice, and correct me if I'm wrong, man, these practices almost hold more weight than the actual game, right? You want to see these guys ball out in the games, but it's all about practice. What's the competition like in practice? Is it love between all the players? Does it get a bit chippy out there? Walk me through what it feels like.
Yeah, at least the last couple of days, you're on your best behavior. Look, Jordan Phillips is a guy who played well last night in the game, and I think his words speak volumes to what you're going to get, at the Senior Bowl or any of these college showcases. He goes, "Hey, I'm a beast on the field, and I'm a gentleman off of it." And I think that's exactly what NFL scouts want to go and see from a lot of these players, because they're evaluating everything. We're talking about how are you. I had one coach tell me, "Hey, this guy picks up after himself in a team meeting," and you go, "Oh yeah, those types of things matter. So when you get to the practice field, like it is physical. At least, I was at a slew of practices last few days. Like guys are getting after it hard. This is a job interview. This is an opportunity. You play well in practice. We had 40, maybe 37 guys, 38 guys on the initial East-West roster that didn't play. And a lot of them because they played so well in practice. And that's kind of a theme. And I think you're going to see that on Saturday for the Senior Bowl. So the physical for sure, but I think these guys are just trying to do everything they can to impress every team in the league.
Mike, I know that we're asking you about this week of practice at the Senior Bowl and this year's prospects, but now you have me wondering, to Bump's point, if there are guys in the past, anyone that comes to mind that like really just upped his draft stock during that week of practice, maybe at the Senior Bowl, just in a way where it ended up, making a massive difference in where he was taking. Any name kind of pop up for you?
Oh, God. I'm just sort of thinking off the top of the dome about guys in general who created some good buzz and maybe didn't play or and this is probably like, God, you're putting me on the spot. I'm trying to think of like a good real name for it. One guy who had amazing practices and didn't play in the game, Kyle Phillips, was one of those guys at UCLA a couple years ago. And look, I'm not saying, a guy that wasn't going to get drafted who ended up, I think he might have been a third round guy, if I'm not mistaken. He certainly comes to mind. Jake Haener, who was a Senior Bowl offensive MVP. He got drafted, by the Saints, and we've seen him in some games. Like, I just think, at the end of the day, like you just try to do your best to boost your stock as much as possible. And I think you're seeing that. Like, I just sort of started with you guys joking about Efton Chisholm, who Bump obviously has trained and I got some info and that's why I was loving him up and gassing him up last night during the broadcast. But he's a guy, and Bump, you would know, like, what were the NFL people saying about him? Because I guarantee the conversation that you were having with any of those guys, a month or 2 months ago is not what that conversation is going to be today, really. I mean, hell, we were in these coaches meetings on Wednesdays. They were gushing over Chisholm in some of those meetings. It's a guy who got there late. So, once again, I just think, to me, all of the little things and the big things, like, this is not breaking news, they all matter, but you're just trying to improve your stock a little bit. And if you can go from second to first round, there's a sizable paycheck that's kind of that you're in line for just based off of that.
Yeah, I think that's what these things are all about. And thanks for gassing my guy up. I'm glad he performed too. Big up Chisholm. Prime was there, right? Did I see Prime hanging around? What's the aura of Prime? What does it feel like when he is in the building?
Okay, great question, because I'm at practice. I think this was Monday's practice, and Prime is there. And, what's weird about it, and I was talking to some of our guys about this. Prime rolls up. I actually said this to Bucky Brooks, who I know has been a guest on your guys' show before. I said, Buck, this dude walks in, and it just feels a little different, like all eyes on him. And and I didn't even realize he was there until he was 3 feet from me, because he was wearing a hoodie and, baggy sweatpants and his shades. And then it was the shades, really, when I saw his face turn, I was like, oh yeah, that's Prime, at that point. And I said, what it reminds me of? A couple years ago, I was covering the NBA Finals, and into the gym walks LeBron James. It just feels different in the entire room. When Prime's on the practice field, everyone knows where Prime is, and that's the aura that comes with Deion Sanders.
Has there ever – so no college player is ever going to be at a level of accomplishing the career accomplishments of Deion, so it's hard to compare. But has there ever been a player that's kind of – struck you with their presence, or maybe even what you saw on the field at either bowl?
No, what's so weird about that question, though, when you think about it, because you automatically, and maybe this shifts over the next few years, and it probably does, because when you're asking me this, like the last couple of years, you go to some of these showcases and like they're still kids. They don't know. Bump and I, reason why we're buds now is because we, spent a season doing college football for the CW. So I go down to ACC Media Day in July in Charlotte. I roll up. It had been, whatever it is, 4 years since I had covered a media day when I was working at Pac-12 Network at the time. And I start looking around at these kids, and the suits look a little different, right? Like at Pac-12 Media Day, they'd roll up in team polos. These guys are rolling up in suits and shoes, and I'm not saying I'm a shoe guy, but I kind of noticed like the shoes they're wearing were a little expensive. I'm not saying I'm a watch guy. I kind of am, even though I don't really have a nice one right now. But they got nice stuff. So I say that to say NIL, I think, is changing some of that, putting these guys out on commercials. I think those and that vibe around some of these guys over the next few years is going to increase. Like, as Caleb Williams when he was at SC, I'm not going to put him in a Dion or a Prime kind of aura, but I bet it probably felt a little bit different, with Caleb in the building. Maybe if SC, you're back at SC, you're automatically sort of in that Heisman conversation. But you get my point, right? Like when you get some of those resources and you're out there more publicly, it does start to feel a little bit different, that hype and marketing machine.
What were there any coaches that stood out? I know in these bowl games, they're experimenting with some guys too, but there are also some OGs there. Is there any coach that stood out to you?
No question. So Marquise Williams, who was the head coach of the East team, the Raiders, right? Like they just made a decision. They hired Pete Carroll, and I like it. And there's a part of me that says, hey, everyone talks about culture. But I got to imagine you spent some time with Coach Carroll and know him pretty well. The thing about it is why that makes sense. Marquise comes into the meeting rooms, and you can tell he's just trying to build up everyone, not only just hype up his own players, but his coaches. Like he hijacked our meeting to talk about the special teams coach in Darren Bates, who he knew as a player and now is with the Carolina Panthers. But all these coaches leveled up. He, to me, like I look at what he's done the 2 times that he's been around this game, and I go, man, at some point he's going to be an NFL coach. We loved up Drew Wilkins, who comes in, and it was one of the coolest things that I had seen. And a lot of the times these coaches haven't been in some of these meetings before. Drew comes in and goes, got his roster. He starts and giving us reports on all these guys. Like they knew their team. I was so impressed by that. But then he's like, hey, like we do this thing called like call your shot. I put a 0 up on the board. I'm like, well, what do you mean call your shot? He's like, well, I told the team this is what we're going to do. And then I have the guys go stand up in front of everyone and say what they're going to go and do. So he's like, I put a 0 on the board. And I said, we're going to get the first shutout, since 1969. And I'm like, I'm writing it down. I'm like, they ain't getting a shutout in an all-star game. Sure enough, they get the shutout. He called out one of his players. He's like, hey, this guy's a ball hawk. Like, I'm going to say it. Like, I think he gets an interception in this game. First pick of the game, it's Herring, the guy that he told us in the meeting was going to get an interception. So when you talk to me about coaches, those 2 guys in particular certainly come to mind.
Again, we're talking with NFL Network's Mike Yam. The Senior Bowl kicks off Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Mike, I'm hoping we can squeeze in just a couple NFL questions. Obviously, Super Bowl 59, a week away from Sunday. And I am going to take a step back and instead stick with the conference championship rounds. And one of the things that I keep hearing are, wow, these 4 teams and this year, maybe more than any other, is making it clear the resurgence of the run, or maybe just how effective some of this has been. And you talking about the evolution of NIL deals, makes me wonder, if you're looking at the evolution of the run in the NFL, how it kind of went away and came back. Is that how you felt about the conference round too?
Totally. I think you make such a great point, and I think all of us have been sitting back watching these games and seeing how over the last few seasons devaluing that running back position, the lack of respect that unit and those players have gotten in the NFL is mind-numbing to me. I don't understand why that is the case, and the compensation that these guys have been paid is just, look, I understand there's a salary cap and quarterbacks are taken up and occupying, 30% of salary cap sometimes depending on the actual team, and dividing that pie is difficult. But when I watch Saquon Barkley, like, is he not like the biggest bargain in the NFL? When I look at what Derrick Henry was able to accomplish, talking about these guys that are, the focal points of what those teams offensively do. And I get it. There's Jalen Hurts and there's Lamar Jackson, who would be my MVP, but it's not always just the quarterback that can get it done unless you're 15 and wearing Kansas City uniform. Generally speaking, these guys do need some other players around them. And I'm with you. I think the running backs that we've seen and the teams that have had success clearly have been able to rely on those guys in the backfield.
This is going to be a big game, Yam. I'm sure you'll be on the NFL Network covering it all and doing what you do. And you're around a lot of great football minds. And we kind of get the same thing from the people we talk to. It's like, yeah, we think Philly's the better team, but it'd be crazy to go against Pat Mahomes. Do you get that same response from the guys you're around?
Yeah, I think there's there is a contingent that feels like he is the ultimate equalizer out on a football field. And if it's close and the defense that Spags has been able to cook up, if they can keep this thing in a close game, like it doesn't matter. Like 15 will make the plays, and 15 will make the plays in the biggest games of the year. Like we have seen him. He's got that track record. So it's hard to go against him. I do wonder, have we seen, Philadelphia clearly has shifted, right? Like this is not these explosive passing plays. Like that's not, a couple years ago, you look at what Jalen Hurts was able to do. He was in that MVP conversation. You think about all those downfield throws that he was making. This offense has really shifted, and they've focused in on Saquon Barkley in this running game, and that's been successful for him. And I get it. And I would stick with that too. The only pushback that I have is this defense right now, especially in the secondary for Philadelphia, is better than the one that we saw 2 years ago that lost in the Super Bowl game. Now, I don't think the front side, that front seven is as good as that other teams. I got some guys that I work with, and, maybe some of your callers and listeners might think otherwise. Like I thought 2 years ago, their D-line was stronger. Some people say this one is. This defense as a whole, though, for Philadelphia does look better. And if they can be disruptive against Patrick Mahomes, there's a chance there. Saquon is a running explosive play. The things that he does on the field is so special. That's why I can't count out this team. I almost feel like they're a more complete team, as crazy as it sounds, than Kansas City is. But Kansas City's got Mahomes, and it's not like they're not complete. Like that defense is really good. I just wonder about an inability sometimes to run the football effectively. And sometimes if it's not Travis Kelce, and I know Worthy's had some good moments, but, I just don't know about the consistent threat in the passing game.
He is NFL Network's Mike Yam. A hectic couple days here for you, Mike. So we're really grateful for you taking the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Yammer.
No, you guys are the best. I always appreciate the invite and looking forward to the next one.
Oh, thanks so much. It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. I for real thought you and Mike Yam were bros. I thought you guys went back. He is the nicest. Him and who else have we had on previously with Pac-12 Network coach?
Nick Aliotti.
Great. All of the
Nigel Burden.
All the guys, Nigel, all the guys that you have worked with for broadcasts. I'm I always think these guys have been friends for years. Surely.
We're lucky, man. They the talent acquisition at the places I've had stops at have been really good. Good people, man.
Yeah, Mike's fantastic. Very busy couple days for him. Again, Senior Bowl kicks off Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Bump, you gave yourself homework last night. I don't know why you elected for that. What was it, and what did you find?
I love this kind of homework. Back in the day, man, that math, history, science homework, I used to hate that. But this one, I love doing. Julian Edelman was on a podcast, and he had some things to say about the Steelers defense.
You knew exactly what they were doing every time, and they still do what they do. They still do the same that when I was playing Tomlin's defense.
Steeler football.
I'm like, what the? We still have linebackers covering the 3 slot?
Yeah.
Every time we play Steelers, I have at least 9 catches.
Coach,
you would think that they would change it.
They're right.
No, but they do what they do.
So he's saying they still have linebackers covering the 3 slot. That means the third receiver in a trip set, the one closest to the tackle over there. So I went and watched one game. I didn't do extra credit homework. I just watched a game.
Basic homework.
Yeah, I watched the Steelers against the Commanders, and a lot of the times he is correct. There are times where they do bring a nickel over. They play a 3-4 defense, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers. Their linebackers are the edge rushers, like the big, fast guys. You got Watt over there. And when you come out in a trips formation and they're in their base defense, which is at 3-4, there are times where Watt is over the number 3 receiver, and it's weird seeing a man that big line up over that third receiver and try to reroute him. And this is what Edelman is thinking. If you're going to use that massive man to try to reroute me, my quickness is going to beat him most of the time. Therefore, I'm able to exploit the zone a bit more. But there were times where they brought a guy over there. So he is right. He's right more than half of the time, that's for sure. They don't make too many adjustments when it comes to that. If I were them and I was going to stay in that base defense at 3-4, I'd bring that safety down instead of a 2-high safety. Bring that safety down. You got a 1-high. You can still influence a number 3 receiver with that backer, but now you got to go zone, basically a cover 3 in that situation. That's typically what you do against a trip set anyway, and do that. But I think that Tomlin believes in his personnel and thinks that they're capable at that size of getting hands on the number 3, rerouting, and dropping to zone if need be. So, yeah, he was right. They're still doing it, but they're also doing some other things.
Homework on a Thursday.
Homework on a Thursday.
Second down.
Best bet.
People have been throwing around the name Joe Milton as an option for the Seahawks. What have you seen from his film? More film.
More film. So Joe Milton has been a name that we see pop up on our text lines all the time when we start talking about quarterbacks, Geno, backup, and all that good stuff, because people love that one game that he had this year for the New England Patriots. It was at the end of the year. I think it was the last game of the season. Either took Drake May out or he went down. Anyway, Joe Milton, he went 22 of 29, 241 yards and 1 touchdown. Like, he had himself a good game. So I go back and I watch that game. And my one-game analysis of this young man, he has great balance, has a good base in the pocket. When things are going crazy, he keeps 2 hands on the football, good ball security, does a good job sliding up inside the pocket. He is a threat in the run game as well. He's mobile. If you want to play that zone option read, you're good to go. Just reading that in and crashing, you're good. And his arm was stronger than what I thought. I remember him at Tennessee. I remember him having a good year because they went back-to-back years. You had Hooker one year who was balling and he got hurt. And then you went Milton, who had himself a good year as well. And now they have a young guy there now. His name is too long. I don't want to jack it up. But they're three consecutive years are going to be good. He can play. The more film I watched, the more intrigued I was. I've watched him play, but more just on the highlights and maybe just watching the game for a little bit. But when I sat there and broke him down, he has a strong arm. He's extremely poised. I do understand that the Bills were probably playing their backup, so you have to take that into account. But you guys sold me on Milton. If the Hawks were to explore that option as a backup and bring him over here, probably for the cheap, he was a 6th-round pick. Drake May has established himself as a quarterback over there with the New England Patriots. I'm good for it, man. I like Joe Milton. Y'all got me.
Very interesting. 3rd down. What rule do you want to see the NFL adopt?
Get rid of the dang onside kick.
How dare you?
It's dumb. I know that in 2015 it was great here. All right, great onside kick here. But in 2024, 6.45% of onside kicks were recovered by the team trying to get that thing. Now, we're going to get this right this time. So the doctor told you, Stacy, you have 6.45% chance of not making it out of this surgery.
I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good.
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling good. You're like, what? Hey, go ahead and make plans, man. We're going on a girls trip next week.
Yeah.
We good to go, right? And it's ridiculous. That 6.4 does absolutely nothing. So I looked up the 4th and 15 percentages when it comes to the conversion rate in the NFL last year, 21.9%. About 3 times better than the onside kick. 4th and 15 conversions were 13.9%, 2 times better than the onside kick. Just get rid of it. If we really want to give teams a chance at the end of the game, get rid of it. So go 4th and 15. You get 1 chance. Let's go get it. That is my proposal to the NFL. I'm going to send a letter to Roger Goodell and the Rules Committee, and we're going to get this done. Get rid of the onside. It's not real.
Related to the onside kick, can I say a time when both you and Curtis literally made me laugh out loud on air because you both said the same thing? It was when the rule change came down. This is at the beginning of this is like last offseason. The rule change came down about making offside kicks only available, or onside kicks only available in the 4th quarter. And you guys both went, let them play.
That's right.
Hey,
onside kicks all the time.
all the time.
1st quarter, 2nd quarter,
Yep. This
3rd
one,
quarter.
only in the 4th. This rule only in the 4th because the conversion rates are a lot higher.
I do. I mean, and someone threw out earlier, like, what about penalties?
there's a
I'm like,
pass
okay,
interference
well,
call?
sure. Then,
That's football.
Then, yeah.
It's football.
Then it makes it more of a coin toss.
And then we went back and forth with that texter, and he also said, or she also said, that as long as it's not an automatic 1st down.
Yes.
I'm with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
4th down. A quick 4th down.
Yep, got you.
Anything stand out from our conversation with Michael Silver?
Mike Silver's put it all together and broke down offenses, right? The offenses we see today really all derive from Walsh. Walsh got his thing going. Shanahan got his thing going. And then Shanahan got McVay. McVay took Shanahan's and did his own thing. Now we're seeing the O'Connells and the Kubiak. So you're going to call it Kubiak offense and O'Connell offense. It all goes down to Walsh, Shanahan, McVay, and now we're seeing everybody else do their thing. The coaching tree and the copycat league is real. Sorry.
All right, Pro Bowl coming your way next.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
It's the Pro Bowl games. You also have the Senior Bowl this weekend, Saturday, 11:30 a.m.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
You want my positive spin for this year? Jorge Polanco's back at a reduced rate.
Days 6 to 10.
You didn't have to pay him what it would have cost to pick up his option. You're saving about $5 million on that, which he could earn back, it looks like, in incentives, which is fine. If he has the kind of year that he was expected to have when he was brought in to be the number 3 hole hitter on this team, great. You'll happily pay him the other $5 million, right?
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I want you to want me.
Muckleshoot Casino Resort welcomes Cheap Trick. Friday, February 21st at Muckleshoot Event Center. Over 20 million records sold. 5 decades of hits. Cheap Trick live February 21st. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
The Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
The Hot Stove Show. Stay up to date on the Mariners offseason with Aaron Goldsmith, Gary Hill, and Shannon Dreyer.
Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. leading up to spring training.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pro Bowl, 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 Pro Bowl.
Nailed it.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
Pro Bowlers.
Are you kidding me? That's right.
Who do you think you are? I am.
One
All
of the
time.
greatest clips of all time.
So we have an interesting format today that I'm experimenting with. We've done this once before with a separate quiz. Normally, this is a series of 8 questions, 4 apiece for Bump and Curtis, where they go back and forth answering trivia about that week's topic. Usually it's a Seahawks opponent. Obviously, in the postseason, we're going with that round of playoffs. This time it's the Pro Bowl, so I didn't want to do like trivia on this year's participants per se, though I guess that would have been an option. I thought it would be funnier if each of you got to chime in as quick as you possibly can with your answer based on clues. So these are all players who have had at least 10 Pro Bowls. These are the most famous players of all time. These are guys that were regular Pro Bowl attendees. There is one active player still, but otherwise I need you to think of like guys that would be slightly before than 2 active players.
Right.
So
should we test our buzzers first to determine who's?
Hey,
should we? What do you think?
Well,
my buzzer says go Dogs, Matt. If it says go Dogs,
we got to be able to decipher who's is who.
I am so angry.
So
I
you
did
want
not think of that.
Should I buzz in?
Yes. So Curtis,
right
what's
now?
your buzzer sound like?
Classic.
Okay,
Classic.
Bump.
Hey. Yes.
We got to turn this.
Thank you,
Can we turn the
Matthew.
sound up? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna hear that one. Okay, so let's do a sample. Okay, I'm gonna
So
say
this is a test run.
this is a test run. Well,
So you better hurry
It's
up,
for
girl.
real.
We got
okay,
like
let's start.
6 minutes.
We're
Let's
starting.
do it.
Okay, we're starting. I need a pen. Okay, thank you. So chime in with your buzzer. Do not say the answer. Just chime in with your buzzer once you think you know who this player is. I'm gonna give like 1 to 3 word clues
All right.
only. Okay. Hail Mary Classic.
Hey,
Bump. What's the answer?
Doug Flutie.
No.
That's college. What am I doing? What am I doing?
I'm gonna do a point for Curtis.
What was it?
Is it Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, my
So,
next.
so if you get it wrong, they get a point?
I'm
Didn't they
gonna
have
do
to
that.
answer it?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll answer it. Okay.
Let
the next
finish
clue
it
is
and
gonna
let him
be.
do it.
I already said Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the next
I missed
clue is
that.
going to be ayahuasca.
Oh,
That'll
that was
give
So
it
you guys,
away.
so you might want to wait on the series. So the
Yeah.
clues
No,
get a little
I
more
had it.
obvious
I
as we
had it.
go.
I
Okay.
had it.
Okay, I believe in you. Next one. We'll try this again. Accurate. Birthmark. Curtis.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is correct.
Oh. That was actually a childhood accident, Mark.
That's right. It was. Yeah, he got his face slashed.
Next one. Hands. Best ever.
Hey.
Bump.
Jerry Rice.
Yes. Point for Bump.
I like this.
Next up. The Minister. Curtis.
Reggie White.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Next up, Forehead.
Hey!
Oh, that was
Peyton Manning. That's messed up, man. Leave him alone.
Sorry. Next clues were Sheriff in Tennessee. Okay, next one. Michigan. Curtis.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Dang, you guys are.
Woodson.
Next clue was
That was my next guess.
yeah. Next one was Giselle. So, even though they separated. Okay, next one. Sticky Fingers.
Hey!
Bump.
Randy Moss. Gosh dang it.
No. The answer was.
Hold on.
Okay,
He's got
next.
It's it right. He gets
still
to
get a
answer.
guess.
Oh, you get a guess?
Yeah.
You want to guess just based on that clue?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give the next clue. It's
I
not for
can
a
listen
point.
to like the whole clue, right? All
Yeah.
three.
Next one. Career Cardinal.
Of course.
Should have waited.
Of course.
Larry Fitzgerald.
You guys got to wait.
I knew it was out of him, or like I gotta jump on it. This dude knows too much.
I know. You know what? I don't blame you. Okay, here we go again. 1990 first round pick. Chargers Hall of Fame.
Hey!
Bump. Curtis.
Junior Seau.
Yes.
Dang it! I was stuck at Phillip Rivers and the day they go, no, they're not old enough. They're not old enough.
Next up, Cowboy. This is the only clue I could think of, so I apologize. It's the odd one out. Not a loose start, but not a loose start, but the opposite. Opposite of loose, opposite of start.
Can I buzz in?
Yes, Matt.
Tight end?
Thank you, Matt. Cowboy. Yes, Curtis.
Is it Jason Witten?
It is Jason Witten.
What is he?
Wow.
A clue from Matt and gets the buzzing off of what Matt said.
I was just
What
excited
is
because I finally
this?
got a point.
Next.
Black History Month is in like 2 days.
Here we go.
It's tomorrow.
My bad. Trump got
It's
rid of that. My
tomorrow.
bad. Trump got rid of that. My bad.
Next clue. Listen carefully. Gunslinger.
Hey!
Bump.
Brett Favre.
Yes.
Gosh darn it.
There you go.
The next clue was welfare.
Oh.
Oh, dang.
First clue for our next player. Mean. Curtis.
Joe Green.
Joe Green.
Man, I'm getting my butt kicked right now.
Next clue. Giant.
Hey!
Bump.
Michael Strahan.
No, but I really appreciate your approach to this game. Curtis, your chance to answer with the next clue here.
This is the worst one of the year.
Any given Sunday. I'm trying.
No. My
We're
performance is the
experimenting.
worst.
It's Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor. I liked nicknames, but I thought LT would give this one away. Next up, Taylor.
Hey! Swift, right? Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Gotta convince myself. Right? It is, right? Taylor Swift.
You're like begging, like, right?
Please?
For a minute, I thought you were going to answer with Swift. Taylor Swift. Next up, Honolulu Blue. Curtis.
Barry Sanders.
You're really good at this.
Man, that's what
Curtis.
that blue is?
Yeah.
Call it good old Royal.
Next up. Oh, I just passed over it. Hang on. Crushing it. This one was my toughest. LA. Pitt. Unstoppable Force.
LA.
Unstoppable Force.
That's
Curtis.
how you get Howie Long?
That's what I was thinking.
No.
No.
LA. Pitt. Unstoppable
Pit.
Force.
I thought you said hit.
No, sorry.
Pitt.
Pitt.
Oh, I know it now.
Curtis.
Well, I already guessed.
Well, I get
Oh.
a chance.
Yeah.
You trying to give him a name?
No.
What else you gonna do, Stacy? Curtis, you got it. Go again. It's not February yet. Go for it.
Bob, what you got, buddy?
I don't know, Stacy.
Don't answer all that to say you don't know.
I gotta talk. If I ain't gonna win, I'm gonna talk.
Bump, I'm going to stare at you. Pitt.
Pitt.
LA.
LA.
Pitt.
Pitt.
LA.
Pitt to LA.
Pitt to LA.
Pitt to LA.
Pitt.
Pittsburgh to Los Angeles.
Meh.
Rams.
God, It's Aaron Donald. We're done. This game, I'm never doing.
Pitt. He went
to Pitt. Yeah, he went to
I'm thinking
college.
Steelers. I go, who went from the Steelers to the Raiders?
You know what?
man?
It was an
Or whatever
interesting
the heck.
approach to the quiz
That
that,
was
I
fun,
wanted
though.
to experiment
I appreciate
with.
your effort there.
Forehead was my favorite.
That was good.
And then Taylor and you saying Swift.
I was talking through it.
I appreciated it. All right. Well, Curtis, you won.
Thank you.
But it's partly
a great
my
game.
fault.
That was a fun one.
All right, what I need to know. Wrapping up the show. Get your questions in 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Joining us here in the booth, Mariners broadcaster Gary Hill.
Julio being Julio is still going to matter, I think, more than anyone else you bring in. I think he can be a true difference maker, all-star MVP quality. I mean, we all know what his ceiling can be. And I'm actually really confident that he's going to have a big year. And because we have seen it in flashes where he has been among the best players in baseball.
Yeah.
Like the absolute best player that this game has to offer.
On Seattle Sports, 97.3 FM HD2.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we are committed to giving you quality workmanship and white glove service that exceed your expectations. Get our exclusive leak armor installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
The Seattle Golf Show, Friday, February 7th and Saturday the 8th at the Seattle Convention Center has 100 exhibits. Buy tickets online and get up to 4 rounds of golf and get free balls while they last at the door. Shop the huge Putts Golf Sale. Kids under 12 are free. VIP tickets at seattlegolfshow.com.
Jackson Hewitt makes Texas feel like a nut rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get the timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
The Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 8th.
Boat show, the boat show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
It's the West Coast's biggest boat show with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. The Big Seattle Boat Show. It's a big deal.
The boat show, the boat show. You gotta cruise the boat show. You won't believe how cool it is.
Bring your family. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
In between storms, have Asset Roofing inspect your roof just to make sure everything is okay up there. It's Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing. It's a quick appointment that will most likely give you peace of mind and save you thousands of dollars later. Remember, you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Head to AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Jewelry Gram, it's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart, like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural rubies, colorful sapphires, and natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty and everyday competitive prices. Come visit us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions into What I Need to Know. Any question you have, text it now. 866-979-3776. Our first listener says, what I need to know. Both have affected NFL running back salaries, but which do you think plays the bigger role? A, rule changes that made passing easier, or B, a CBA that has rookies under team control for 4 to 5 years, so most running backs could be done by then.
C, the nature of the position that beats guys up, and they know that their prime years for running backs are typically 4 to 5 years. After that, it's rare you get a Derrick Henry. It's rare you get a Barry Sanders who went 10 years. It's just the nature. But I think all of those factor into it. But I think the most important part of it is just the nature of the position. It just beats these guys up. But that is one of the best questions we've had.
That's such a good question that I saw it, and I almost texted this listener to be like, I'm going to turn this into a segment and not use it here. I might still do that.
Yeah,
that's really good. What I need to know, what's the greatest invention ever? Someone better say fire.
Ever. Right? Is that an invention or a discovery?
So that's something that I thought to myself, right? Like, we didn't invent the ability for those molecules to, but
it's more of a discovery.
Is it the wheel?
It's got to be the wheel.
Has to be the wheel. Has to be.
Okay, let's take the obvious answers off the table. Now go to fun answers. Greatest invention ever.
All right. Let's go with ability to fly. Airplanes. You thought I meant like some Peter Pan stuff?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta reread the question.
Or like traveling by boat.
Internet.
Oh yeah.
Internet.
But
all the hate that's spewed over the internet too. Though?
I was gonna say, has the internet been good for us? Is the internet good?
Net positive in terms of throughout history, right? Where it is right now, messy, real messy.
Yeah.
But yes,
and
net positive, absolutely.
I don't think it can ever go back to having its initial charm.
You know what? I almost need to remove internet from social media. Like, social media is really the one where we're talking about like where things get messy.
But internet is the mother.
Internet would be my answer though.
Yeah.
Outside of the wheel would be number one. What I need to know. I entered my 40s a couple years ago. What's the difference between being in your 40s and being in your 30s? And is 40s considered middle-aged anymore?
Not real talk. You're middle-aged at like 35.
How dare you?
Because men life expectancy in this country is like 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm in my midlife. 40, I couldn't tell you, but I'll tell you one thing: that metabolism is different. That's for sure.
I feel that in my 30s. In my early 30s, I started being like, I can't eat what I used to. What I need to know. Did the Mariners trade or pick up a big-name bat for 2025, 2026 season run, or do you think they're sticking with the roster we have?
I would hope so. I don't know. The season has to play out. You got to see what your arms look like. You got to see what's available. There's too many factors when it comes to 2025.
Yeah.
You're talking about the following season, right?
I think so.
Year.
They said 2025-6.
Yeah.
So,
people saying electricity, that's more of a discovery. I think that's a discovery, not an invention.
Yeah, it's discovered.
It was always there.
Mm-hmm.
We just had to find it.
What I need to know. What is... Oh, gosh. We're just close out of this. Survivor question. What's something about the first 30 to 40 seasons of Survivor that you miss or wish they'd bring back?
39-day seasons.
Yeah, that's the number one answer for sure.
I wish they would go back to the old format.
Second, villains.
Yeah.
Like, I think they really try to get Survivor super fans, which is great because they know the rules and they're serious about the game. But
because there haven't been many memorable villains of the new era.
No. Bring back bad people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always say that. What
Doug, you agree with it.
Yeah, what they
Bump
said.
Gets it.
What they said.
Did you ever try Survivor? I think you did.
I did. I made it through like half a season, then I got distracted with something else, and it's kind of just,
Yeah. What's a movie you've never seen before? I'm going to alter this person's question because I think they're asking too. What's a movie you've never seen before that people make fun of? Like something where you're like, this is a weird thing for me not to have seen.
Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen one.
Like Lord of the Rings.
I haven't seen any of those either.
I have no interest.
I almost called both of you nerds for not having seen either of those. Mine are like a number of older sports movies, like anything pre-2000.
A number. Plethora.
A myriad. What I need to know. What do you like better for the NBA All-Star Dunk Contest? One-of-one custom car for the winner you can't get anywhere else, or a custom ring?
Car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't think that's incentive enough to get the best.
What
players
would be
to go.
incentive enough?
Like $1 million cash prize. I think that would get a lot of people participating.
Really? Even like high level stars, if it was $1 million?
Oh, yeah.
I think
for
so.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Those guys count their checks.
That's why they play hard for the in-season tournament for that 500.
I'm doing my own what I need to know, and either of you can answer or both. If you were to choose, let's say 3 participants for an NBA dunk contest and they actually had to do it, who would you choose?
In current NBA?
Current NBA. Not all
LeBron, because we've never seen LeBron in a dunk contest.
Yeah, I don't think he got nothing left for us, man.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the ups.
You'd have to go a couple years ago.
I still think he can compete.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch him.
2 more.
Say Ja Morant.
Yeah, Ja's a good one. I wouldn't go Wemby because it looks silly when he dunks. It looks stupid when he dunks. I'm just jealous. Probably
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that was going to be...
All right, Curtis nailed it.
Were you going to say Anthony Edwards?
Yes, that's it.
You guys are thinking the same team here. Let's see. What I need to know. This person just said, what should I have for my birthday dinner? They gave no choices. You just have to tell them what they should have.
Go, if you got some chippers, go to Ascend and have that Wagyu steak. Bomb.
Some chippers.
Some chips.
Some
money.
chips?
Chips, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Chippers.
Okay. I thought you were going to say, if you got some chippers, you should eat those because chips are good.
Some nice Doritos.
I'm moving on. What I need to know. Will Luis Castillo be traded by the trade deadline? Now we're talking July.
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Why not? Not like why not do it, but do you just think that the market's completely cooled for starters?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I think they're like, yeah, we're good on Luis. Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. Man, God, this offseason. What I need to know, how much impact will finding his quarterback of the future and the urgency to do so have on Mike Macdonald's success, or at least the perception of it? They said would be interested to see how many first-time head coaches have found their quarterback within the first 2 years.
I don't think it's that urgent because of where they are in the draft and
Yeah.
what's available this year. I think you could try to find one and hopefully get lucky, but I think maybe the following year or whipping up a deal.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen just in the draft that easily.
Well, and that's also because Seattle's in kind of an interesting spot. Like, it's not super common that a brand new head coach is taking over a team that won 9 wins or maybe went to the playoffs the prior year before that one, right? Usually it's like, yeah, you had a 2-win team and you have pick number 3 overall. So interesting stuff. This has been Bump and Stacy. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Free agent infielder Jorge Polanco in agreement with the Mariners. Mariners' plan is to play Polanco at third base.
I mean, he's better than what they had there, which was nothing. So I'm trying to figure out an explanation. That's a guy they know, that they can get in there, that at this time they